You said what?
It was cold. His vest.
I like it.
Oh, no, we're not live yet.
Test it.
Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie. Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. Hebrew Israelites. Kwam Yasha. It's all about the Most High. It's all about.
Okay, shalom, brothers and sisters.
Shalom.
Welcome back to class with the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. All right, we're going to go ahead and get class rolling and do like every other time when we get class rolling. We're going to go ahead and get questions out first, and then we're going to go ahead and go into class. So if you brothers and sisters online, y'all want to get some questions answered, go ahead and hit us up. I'm going to go ahead and go over these little announcements, and then we'll go directly into class after. All right, so if y'all don't know by now, we are the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're located here at 8524 South Braeswood in Houston, Texas 77071. We also have classes in San Antonio and Albuquerque. Okay, if y'all want to get those classes or you're in that area, you know, we announce addresses every class. So, you know, if you're familiar with us, just hit us up. My number is 281-707-2737. All right. Passover was great. Khan? Yeah, Passover was real festive. Brothers, sisters, kids on there with that. I wonder if they put that one up online. I don't think we went on YouTube when the kids did that. The kids did a nice dance up there. It was real nice. They put together. They spent a little time. They did the what was that? Psalms what?
121.
It was Psalms 121. So we have classes. Yeah, I said that. Classes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 9. Then we have Fridays Shabbat night class from 6 to 9. Excuse me. Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10. Shabbat morning classes from 10 to 2. So if you guys missing that, you're missing a lot of information. The reading is always good. The repetitive reading of the Shabbat reading gives you so much more edification. And if you brothers and sisters consider yourself learners, studious, you need to be in that. You need to be tuning into that if you ain't down here or whatever. All right. Kids class is starting back again this Sunday. Starting up again soon. However, okay. Well, not this Sunday. When are they gonna start? Next Sunday?
I think the Sunday after.
This Sunday after. They're gonna get everything situated, up and running with that. Okay. Please like, share, subscribe. You see our videos on there. Y'all know who we are. You know we're trying to do our part, getting the word out. All right. So. Please check that out. All right. The Hidden Truth radio show has been moved to when? May 3rd. Why? Because the radio station wants us to get certain things set up first. So we moved it. They moved it another month to May 3rd at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I don't know. If y'all interested in all this Bible stuff we're doing, You know what I mean? Y'all can support. All right. It's gonna be on Tuesdays on 93.3 Global Radio. All right. So, yeah, we got another month on that. We're gonna get a flyer out, right? That's what we're gonna get a flyer out and get the word out that is going down. All right. Please check out Mashaba. He does a fabulous blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, and it's from Mondays to Fridays at 9:30 a.m. Also, look out for, we're gonna start posting in a little bit. We're gonna start posting all the classes from Venezuela. Was it Guatemala? And we're gonna put them up there from Guatemala, so y'all can have those for the Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters. So that's a good touch. We're gonna add to our channel also. All right, check us out at isbhpk.org. And once again, if you want to donate to the school, you want to give alms to help out with the school, the information will be on the screen as we go on during class also. All right. So we're going to open up with questions. If nobody got any questions, we're going to go ahead and jump directly into class. I'll give y'all a few seconds.
We just got one question for you.
What we got?
It says, Shalom, the classes for children that are on Sundays, will the classes be live as well so my child are able to watch?
Yeah, the classes are going to be live. So they do them live. You know, it's kids class. There's not, you know, a lot of parents don't know about it, and a lot of people, you know, I'll put it like this, they might not know about it. So there's going to be some viewers on there, but yeah, it's live. And if you're out of town, you can check on it live. If you're in town, you can come and get class. All right. So yeah, it is going to be live, but not this Sunday, because you know, after this year, the sisters are going to be preparing, revamping certain things, and getting things rolling with that aspect. All right. So yeah, look out for that. We appreciate you supporting that also. What else?
My question is, what is the topic of today's class? What scriptures will we go over so I know?
We're going to be going over Genesis 3. All right? We're going to be going over Genesis 3, but I'm answering questions first. So we've been holding off Genesis 3. There's a lot of brothers and sisters in here that want us to go over it again. There's a lot of brothers and sisters online that want us to go over it again. I think we hit it on our last, when YouTube was having problems, we did it on another channel, other channel, but I'm going to be going over that. Genesis 3. What else? All right. I'll give y'all a few more minutes as far as to see if anybody has any questions. Does anybody have any questions in here? La? Okay. All right. How about this? Does anybody have any questions in here?
La.
Okay. All right. Come on, man. There's nothing but men in here, y'all. I gotta hear y'all. I gotta roar. Okay. There you go. Brother, sleeping already? You're not sleeping.
I would actually.
No, sir.
You said what?
I said actually.
That's what happens when you have twins, man. That's not gonna stop for about what?
Oh, man.
You gotta go about a year before they start actually sleep. Well, I don't know. My son, he's 5 months now. He's sleeping a little more. He's maybe sleeping 3 hours. He's getting up every 3 hours as opposed to every 2. You know what I mean? So
Every 2.
they're doing every 2 hours. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That belly's screaming out at them like, "Feed me."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you gotta get up, gotta go get the bottle, gotta warm the bottle. Yeah. Or if she's breastfeeding, yeah, that I guess that's easy, right?
Attach.
Only a certain amount come up.
Oh yeah, then you gotta give the rest in the bottle. What are y'all doing for bottle wise?
I just pre-make them. I prep them. It's like, what's it
and some. Yeah, you gotta watch all those stuff, man.
The one I actually read the ingredients. It was like grapeseed oil. It was like oils inside.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, this is natural.
Yeah, you gotta make sure it's good stuff for them because they put a lot of stuff in those milks too.
Yeah.
Like we're just doing coconut milk with coconut water. Cause coconut milk with coconut water and some probiotics. Yeah, cause his skin, he has eczema. I don't know, all my kids got eczema, but they break out of it. But you gotta watch those chemicals in there, man. Cause Esau be creeping on the low, putting all that stuff in there.
You know what's amazing about having a child? It's like, it talks about, the Most High can multiply our seeds.
Yeah.
And it's like, just imagine, I guess, like my children was just like me.
Yeah.
So it's like the people who kind of, I guess, don't have sons or don't have that, I guess, favor from the Most High in a way. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like, damn, they're not a tribe anymore.
Right.
It's like, is there certain men on earth where, okay, I like this generation, I like this type of person, and keep their faces on earth?
Right.
Like, could that be, how they talk about, God predestined us to be angels. So it's like some of us, is our lineage going to constantly continue because
that depends on if we eat the fruit of immortality,
right.
which is the law, statutes, and commandments. Is our generation gonna last? That depends on us, right? That depends on if we're following the commandments of the Most High. That depends on if we're looking at our mistakes and teaching them. Because it's easy. You're going to see how easy it is for everything you do to imprint on your children. It's going to imprint on them. You're going to be like, God, man! And then your kid, if you do that a million times, your kid's going to be doing what? Man! Everything you do, they're like going to be like computers picking it up. So why do you think when you go back to Deuteronomy, was it 6 and 4? Right, go there real quick. And I'm just really answering this real quick to see if anybody got any questions. If not, I'm going to go into this Genesis 3. All right, so read that real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart.
Right. Jump to the point, though.
Come on. Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Right.
And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
Right.
And when thou walkest by the way.
See, in this right here, you as a new father, this is the key. This is the key. If you sit in the house and you're scrolling on your phone, well then they're going to learn, I'm going to scroll on my phone. But if you sit in your house, read it again.
Come on. And when thou sittest in thy house.
Uh-huh.
And when, Slacky, verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
How are we diligent? Well, we gotta watch our actions, that what we're diligent in. And a lot of parents, a lot of people don't know, like, your habits are what you're diligent in. What is your habits? You know what I mean? So if you're on your phone all day, you watching novellas all day and Netflix, your habits ain't going to go away until you acknowledge your habits and say, dang, this is a bad habit. And they're going to watch, our kids watch us, no matter what we do. Go ahead.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
What are you talking about? What are you communicating with your rib about? You'll start seeing your kids will talk like you. Like if you want to see what bad you're doing, just look at your kids. You know what I mean? I'm at the level now where, yeah, the outward things are working with them. The example, class, me being a teacher, being an example, all those things outwardly, right? But the Spirit showed me, well, what about the inwardly? Like, they do things outwardly, but now are you building the things within them? And that takes like what we do in class, communicating with them, talking with them, getting in their head. You know, like a teenager. They just want, like my daughter turned 14 and she just wants to be all alone. You know what I mean? Now I got to be more, hey, what's going on with you? Talking to them. You know, but that's an acknowledgement that I had to acknowledge that where I'm slipping at, and where what needs to get better. A lot of times parents don't want to see what they're doing wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
They don't want to see what they're doing wrong, and then the kids pick up and start what?
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing. So what are we talking about in our house? You see, if you curse, your kid's gonna come out. Say, Mom, F. It's like, what? You know what I mean? So my daughter went to school and she picked up some of that. I'm like, you don't hear us say that. Where'd you get that from?
God.
You see that? So, you know, you're battling on two planes. You gotta battle all the old things within you. Then you gotta come back and when they go to school, if they're not homeschooled, you gotta battle all the things in the world. So you gotta be conscious of what's going on here. That's the only thing that's going to deliver us. Watch. Read on and go to Hosea 4 and 6.
And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down,
right,
and when thou risest up.
You see that? I was just telling the other brother. Listen, I'm only answering the question. I'm not better than thou. I'm not more righteous than thou. I'm just letting you know what example I had to start doing with my kids that what I haven't did in the past. You see that?
God.
And the thing is, like, when he says, when you walk by the way, like, it takes me from my house to get to karate 30 minutes. So I take my son to karate, but in the car, I'm talking about scriptures. You know what I mean? What scripture says this? What scripture says that? What tribe is Judah? What tribe? I mean, we're working on his tribes now, right? Because he knows the 12 tribes, but he don't know who they are today. So I'm like, okay, who's Judah? Who's Benjamin? Who's Levi? What scripture says you don't supposed to eat pork? So he's doing this. It only takes 30 minutes. Yeah. And this guy, if you ask him, what scripture to prove you need to wear fringes? He's like, Numbers 15:38. What scripture to prove Christmas is wrong? Jeremiah 10:1. What scripture to prove Christ is dark skinned? He's just going through them. It takes 30 minutes. But their mind eats all this up. So if you're getting in the car and you're doing I'm zoning out, turn up the music and Rihanna's on and you just like, and then they know more Rihanna songs, is because that's what you do daily. You see that? If they know more TV, that's what you do daily. So you gotta watch your habits, yeah.
So now I see you going into like more of beware of like Satan's devices.
Right.
As in, like, we got all these devices, but are we, is it expedient? Like,
right.
Most of the things you're saying, like, basically, like your advice basically to me is make sure I'm talking about the scriptures.
Yeah.
And doing more or less Satan's devices.
There you go. You got to, because what happens is they're gonna pick up, and you're thinking, oh, it's not a big deal, but your habits ain't gonna just change, You see what I'm saying? If you got that in your mind, you know what I mean? It's gonna eventually reveal itself. You can't be hid. So you're gonna show them. They're gonna learn that. So when you're talking to your rib, if you start it with your rib, then your kids are gonna learn that. So, I'm just preparing you because you're a young man and your zeal, you want them to learn the right thing. But are you willing to give up your habits and your faults for them? Are you willing to sacrifice? So now, then you're going to really understand, and I'm not going to go and take this in the whole class, but now you're going to really understand if a man can't take care of his own house. Because as you're learning all these things for your twins, you're going to come back and be able to do this for the house of the Lord and say, you know what? Now, as I had patience in getting them their bottle, Pampers, diapers, feeding, my example, then you're going to come back and do that for the household of the Lord. You see that? A lot of brothers that lack in those areas is because they didn't do it at home. Right. They weren't observant at home. You see that? So, I mean, do y'all get that? Yeah, y'all gotta see that, because I know some of y'all is not fathers in here yet. You know what I mean? But it's finna hit y'all like this whole row right here. Well, you're taken care of now. But eventually, brothers be getting that face like, not yet. It's gonna eventually happen, and you need to know this. It's important. But you can see even with you, like it's bringing out a maturity. Why? Because you can't just sleep through no more. You can't just not, oh, I'm tired, I'm not going to do that. No, it don't work like that. You still got to go to work. You still got to change diapers. You still got to be a teacher. You still got to be a father. You still got to be a husband. You still got to be a brother. All these things don't stop because you got kids. So that's why you got to prepare your mind for what you're going through. Right? You know, it's beautiful if you have a wife there supporting and locked into you. It's 100,000 times better. But now imagine if you had a rib there that's combating you every step of the way. Well, grandma wants to see them. Yeah, but grandma's still celebrating Christmas, so no. You know what I mean? Well, grandma wants to do this. They want to, well, are they going to feed them pork when they go over there? You know, pepperoni pizza? Yeah, you got to be conscious of all these things. Because they will. Like, oh, it's nothing but pepperoni. That's not pork. You know how many times I heard that from their grandparents? Like, nah. Or they try to do my kids like, oh, we took it off. I'm like, no. You know, don't even touch that madness. Yeah, it's like, man, but that be the demons they got on them. And they'll run through your kid's spirit, and then your kids be coming home like, Dad's the mean one. You know what I mean? Mom's the mean one. When I go to grandparents, I can eat candy, I can get cavities, I can eat pork, I can celebrate Christmas. They like don't want to be home no more. Right. So you have to control your environment now on the spirit you want on your children. You know, and it's according to this. Go ahead.
Jose, God.
Finish reading on Deuteronomy.
Verse 8, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes.
And that's how I gotta be. You gotta be like over zealous. Why? Because you know, like me, my language was bad before I had kids. Bad. But then my rib, she was like, the kid's gonna learn that. You know, and of course it's a cut, right? It's a cut, but I was like, God! But I was like, okay, you're right. And I didn't want them to be running around saying F's and running up in the sanctuary saying F's and damns and all that. I was like, you know what? Cut it. Just like that. You know what I mean? And it's still not perfect in it, but I mean, around them, they don't get none of that. You know what I mean? So, but all those things teach us for the body, right? Teach us for the sanctuary. But it's just things like that, man, that if you can't take care of your own house, how could you take care of the house of the Lord? That's exactly what it means. All these essential things that you're learning is going to be applied in the house of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates.
Right.
And it shall be.
Right. You write them on the posts of your house and on your gates. You know what that means? It got to be all around you. So, you know, that's why I start praying around them. Yeah. See? Praying with your rib. Like, we got to set up prayers. You got to, listen, it's really, if you ain't been doing it, if you got a lot of bad habits, you got to drastically throw them away. Because everything got to be geared towards, I want them to grow up around the spirit. Like little Noah, he comes in yelling the prayers, right, all out. That's how you want your kids to be, you know? So, yeah. Go from there, go to Hosea 4 and 6.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6.
Right.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Right. And what's going to happen to our children?
I will also forget thy children.
I will what?
Also forget thy children.
They will what?
Forget thy children.
That's why I went there. Because we never read down. we never read down. But when you do read down, you find out the Most High will forget your children. Why? Because you're stubborn, stiff-necked, rebellious, and hard-headed. What's going to go to your children? If you, I don't have to change, brother. That's the way you run your house. Okay, you're going to see that you're bad examples because you're not checking them. Your kids are going to start having those same bad examples. Anger, They see you spaz out. You know, they see the mom go, the girls start, I'm looking at the girls, I'm like, y'all, that needs to go out the door. You know what I mean? Same thing. You gotta watch it. These kids are like damn computers, man. And then, like I said, now they're going to school. That's, oh my God. It's like every day they come in, I gotta go through a holy war. I gotta go through holy water and an exorcism to make sure their mind is not in that mind of the world. Go ahead.
Con. Verse 7. As they were increased, so they sin against me.
Yeah, you see that? So, go to Ecclesiastes 30 real quick. And then we'll jump. Nobody got any other questions on there?
Yeah,
online? Okay. Go here real quick and then we'll jump to that. What's up? You was going to say something?
Well, I just want to, like you were saying about their mind, man. You know, how do you get good at, you know how it says, you're supposed to cast down every imagination that goes against Christ?
Right.
How do you get good at that? Is that basically just learning the scriptures? Or is that just... Like,
you know, it goes back into Ecclesiastes. But let me do this one, last one, and then we'll jump to that one real quick. Go to
Ecclesiastes 30?
Oh, I was like, yeah, Ecclesiastes 30. Real quick. Huh? No. He that teaches his 3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 3.
Right.
He that teacheth the son grieveth the enemy.
So what is he going to teach him? You're going to teach your child the example that you are. You can't pull out of yourself the things that are not there. You understand? So you got to really reject a lot of the bad things that's in you. And you got to be conscious. That's why it says, let a man examine himself whether he be in the faith. So you got to be looking at yourself and saying, dang, is this in the spirit? Am I doing this and this is going to affect my children? Because you learning that as a young man, that's going to teach you the same thing in the body. Dang, am I doing this? Is that going to affect the brothers and sisters around me? Which should be the idea, the thought process anyway, right? Is this example going to be to a negative on our brothers and sisters? Right? Go from there. Just on what you're saying, you jumped. But I just wanted to show you that. Read it one more time.
Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
He that teacheth the son grieveth the enemy.
Yeah, so, but what are you teaching them? You're only going to teach them what is coming out of your mouth, what you do when you walk by the way, what you post on your house. Right? What you're going to do what is frontlets. These are your frontlets between thine eyes. What is in front of you? If it's TV, stupidity, YouTube, that's what they're going to do. It's not rocket science. It's not even all that deep. You know? They're going to do what you do. So you got to be conscious of that. But on your other question about casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the Most High, right? You got to go to Ecclesiasticus. And how do you cast down the imagination? Ecclesiasticus. Hold on a second. I'm looking for it. I thought it was 30. Ecclesiastes 30. Wow. My brain is. I'm trying to get off the app here and do it with thy mind. 23. There you go. Ecclesiastes 23 verse 1 on down.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23 verse 1. O Lord, Father, and Governor of all my whole life, Lead me not to their counsel.
Lead me not what?
To their counsel.
What counsels is he talking about? He's talking about the counsels of the wicked. Right? Lead me not to the advice. So you want to know, well, how do I get my mind right? Let's get the obvious out there. The laws of the Most High. That's for all the new brothers and sisters that need that, but have to understand more. Meaning that it's the 10 Commandments, it's the wisdom, it's the knowledge, it's the Bible. Right? So let me not go to their counsels. What is counsel? What is counsel? Advice. Advice. Let me not go to the wicked counsels, right? So how do I not go to the wicked counsels? Huh?
Don't hang around them.
Yeah, you can't be around them. But also, let me see here. Go to Proverbs 1 and 2. Go to Proverbs 1 and 2.
Proverbs chapter 1 verse 2.
Go ahead.
To know wisdom and instruction.
To be what?
To know wisdom and instruction.
You got to be instructed. Right? And we're going to see how, because this is answering your question. Well, how do you cast down these imaginations? Well, you need instruction. Go ahead.
God, to perceive the words of understanding.
To understand the Bible, to understand the scriptures, to understand what you're reading. That's why, because if you don't understand, you're not going to use it. How many people have ever took a karate class and when you got in a fight, you resorted right back to swinging like a girl? Why? Because if you don't really comprehend it, you won't use it. Con? Go ahead.
Verse 3. To receive the instruction of wisdom. Justice.
Right.
And judgment.
Because that's what the scriptures give you. Wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. Go ahead.
Con, to give subtlety to the simple.
Right, to be subtile. But this ain't serpent subtile. This is righteous subtile. Right? Meaning that, you know, how to use wisdom and understanding. Okay, go ahead.
Con.
And simple means what? Unlearned. So it's answering your question, how do I cast down these imaginations? Well, you got to understand what you're dealing with. Right? You got to understand what you're dealing with, and you can't be left to the counsels of the wicked. Go ahead.
Con. To the young man, knowledge and discretion.
See, there you go. To the young man, like yourself, knowledge and discretion, which a lot of brothers need to understand, how to be discreet, how to carry themselves, what is comely and what is not, what is beastly and what is not. Go ahead.
A wise man will hear.
Hey, you got to do what?
A wise man will hear.
So how do you gain all this?
Hear.
You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to listen. Go ahead.
And will increase learning.
Yeah, the only way you're going to keep learning and being able to cast down those imaginations is these essential things like understanding, being instilled in you, wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. But the only way you're going to get that is if you're listening. Go ahead.
And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
He's going to do what?
Attain unto wise counsel.
So now we read, lead me not to their counsels. Why? Because the counsels of the wicked is not wisdom. So I'm not going to go to the foolish for advice. Watch, it's going to go on. It's showing us how a man gets wisdom and understanding and justice, judgment, and equity. Go ahead.
To understand a proverb.
Right. So you're going to go. Where are we at? And a man of understanding shall attend to wise counsels. That's how you're going to get the proverbs, the answers, by listening to wise counsel. Go ahead.
And the interpretation.
See, what brothers and sisters don't understand is that you're not going to get the Bible until you learn how to listen. A lot of people think they know and they don't want to listen. They already have a preconceived notion of what they think they know and they don't understand. Just because you read, that don't mean you understand.
Con.
Go ahead.
The words of the wise.
Go ahead.
And their dark sayings.
Go ahead.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
So to get that, to get the wisdom you want, is first you got to have the fear of the Most High. And I know you know all these things, but this is just me reiterating to you the process of how you're going to get more sharper in casting down those imaginations.
God.
Go ahead.
But fools despise wisdom.
You see that?
God.
So I'm not going to be able to get counsel, right wisdom, justice, equity, and being subtle how to use wisdom until I know how to listen. But a fool doesn't listen. Go ahead.
And instruction.
Read.
My son, hear the instruction of thy father.
Go ahead.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
Go ahead.
For they shall be an ornament of grace.
Right. That same ornament it talks about in Ecclesiastes 6. Wisdom is an ornament. It's like bracelets. It's a cloak, right?
God.
It's talking about the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. Go ahead.
Ornament of grace unto thy head.
Until I, right, read.
And chains about thy neck.
So he's saying the same thing. He said that Sirach said in Ecclesiastes 6. Go ahead.
My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
Do what?
Consent thou not.
And that's why I wanted to show you. So lead me not to their counsels. You know what that means? That you're listening to wisdom and you won't go to their counsels. You're listening to the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, the Bible, the Scriptures, and you won't go to their advice.
True.
You understand?
God.
Because they're trying to get you to think like them. Same thing we talk about. I was telling my kids the other day. Like, this is what they do in the world. You don't do that. So go back to Ecclesiastes 23.
Ecclesiastes chapter 23 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
Who will set scourges over my thought?
Right.
And the discipline of wisdom over my heart.
Yeah, because you can't go by their counsels. Because the counsel of the world is not discipline or wisdom. Everybody in the world doesn't want discipline or wisdom. They don't want to be structured. They don't want order. They don't want to be confined, or like Paul said, they don't want to be, he said he's a prisoner. They don't want that. Right? So the question is, going back to your statement, how do I cast down all imagination? Well, who shall set scourges over your thoughts? It's going to give us some key themes to cast down these imaginations. Go ahead.
That they spare me not for my ignorance.
Because that's what you need on your thoughts. You need whips. You need whips and scourges to when those negative thoughts of pride, envy, lust, doubt, hatred, unforgiving, bitterness, anger get in you. You need a scripture to whip that thought in order. That's the only way you're going to cast down imagination. Go ahead.
And it passed not by my sin.
Yeah, because if you don't have a scourge there, if you don't have wisdom there, whipping your mind in order, right?
God.
If you don't listen, then you become a what? What did it say in Proverbs? A what?
A fool.
You become a fool.
God.
See, that's why it says a wise man will hear, increase in learning. But a cat, if you're getting whipped in your mind with wisdom, knowledge, counsel, that's what's going to cast down these thoughts. The wisdom of the Most High. But you're not going to get the wisdom if you're not listening. If you're not understanding, right? Because you won't have judgment. You won't have equity. You won't have discernment. You see that? Go ahead.
Lest my ignorance increase.
Because what's going to happen if you don't get whipped? Your mind don't get whipped into order if you're not told and corrected. Your ignorances are going to increase. You're going to keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. Go ahead.
And my sins abound to my destruction.
Go ahead.
and I fall before mine adversaries.
Read.
And my enemies rejoice over me.
Right, because that's the outcome. Go ahead.
Whose hope is far from thy mercy. O Lord, Father.
Go ahead.
O Lord, Father and God of my life.
Right.
Give me not to a proud look.
So that's how you do it. How are you going to cast down imaginations, bro? You got to listen. You got to be able to hear. And you can't get proud. You can't get prideful when you're wrong. Take it, deal with it, correct it, and move on. Go ahead.
But turn away from thy servant always a haughty mind.
You see that? That's what holds brothers and sisters back. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And that goes in Ecclesiastes 5, right? Go ahead.
Turn away from me vain hopes.
Right.
And concupiscence.
And
thou shalt hold him up that desires always to serve thee.
So I want you to read that again. That verse 5.
God, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence.
So turn away from me vain hopes. Because when you go back in Proverbs 1, it tells you that the wicked turn away the simple. That the simple mind look at the wicked and be like, well, they living it up good out there. I don't got to do this. I don't got that. I don't got to do that. Vain hopes will leave if you understand the scriptures. If you understand the knowledge and why to apply the knowledge. A lot of times you don't see no reason to apply it. I know it's real because that's how a lot of people think. I don't apply this because I don't see the benefit in it. So you start having these vain outlooks and vain faith in the world. Right? Let me finish it. Go ahead.
And thou shalt
It says, and hopes and concupiscences, which is inordinate desire and lust. Right? You start having that. Go ahead.
And thou shalt hold him up that desires always to serve thee.
Yeah, but the one that's not going to fall into these things is what? The ones that's held up with wisdom, the knowledge, casting down imagination, setting scourges over his thoughts, examining himself whether he be in the faith, listening to counsel, right? That's going to give him justice, judgment, equity, discretion in all your action. These are the things that we're all fighting to keep imprinted in our mind so we can make the right actions. But you see, it's those things you need. A lot of brothers don't have discretion. They don't have equity. You know what I mean? Justice. You know what I mean? They don't, and most of all, above all, they don't have understanding. They don't have understanding, and therefore it's not applicable to me. I don't have to use that because I don't get it. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say, it's like you were saying, having that mindset.
Right.
It's like I see the importance of having those examples because even when I'm away from the brothers and I get in certain situations, I would think like how would these brothers handle it?
There you go.
So it's not only how would Christ handle it?
Right.
I was like, okay, I got this example of how this brother would handle it.
Right.
Oh, it works. This brother, he told me this. It works. So it's like
there you go.
I don't think I got the scriptures, but I have.
And you know what, you know, like if you got a younger brother in the truth or a bad example, it says covet the best gifts. So, it's a no-brainer when you put the scriptures in there, but brothers try to act like it's more complicated. Listen, there's going to be knuckleheads coming in all the time. You know who to follow. You know the best gifts, and you know what to follow. Right? You see that? You know what to follow. So, the thing is that's what you got to keep doing because you see it working. Wait a minute, this is working in my house and my family and for my nation. It's changing me, my thought process. You see that? And that's why we always got to reiterate to you, what? When you were first in the world, did the weed help? No. It created more problems. Did the scattered brain mentality help? No. It created more problems. You're arguing with cops. You're arguing with this person. You're arguing with that person. So you got to see the things that you are trying to drag into the truth and cut off the old man. Put on the new. Don't get stubborn and like, oh no, this is part of me. I got to hold on to this. You got to let that go. You know what I mean? And which usually is, everything I'm talking about is usually every man's battle. Every Israelite's battle. It's not just your battle. It's every Israelite brother and sister's battle. They want to pull things in from the world and hold on them to the truth and sew new cloth on old garment and act like, oh, well, that's part of me. Nah. If it ain't in the spirit, it's not part of you. If it ain't an attribute that is edifying in the spirit, then no, you need to let that go, right? So, I mean, you get that, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any other questions on that? You should be doing this. What you're doing is on point, preparing yourself for these children. You know what I mean? And it's a good thing. You know, the Most High's timing is right because that maturity from you is needed. Because if you want to be an asset to your family, your wife, your children, your nation, you need to grow up and mature in those areas, you know, and the responsibility is there. But I'm going to say this, while you're all diligent and hunkadory to listen now, remember the trial of your faith is going to come, and it's going to get hard. Those babies is going to get hard. Doubt is going to come in. Double-mindedness is going to come in. You got to stay diligent in what you know that's been working. Same thing for your rib, you know, as her being new and young. She got to do the same thing. Stay faithful. What's up, Bob?
If I could add.
Yeah.
You always got to remember these moments of clear thought that you have.
Yeah.
When your mind and your thinking and your judgment gets clouded, you got to think back when you were clear-minded.
Yeah.
You got to be able to consciously think back to when you were actually thinking straight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do. Like when things start building up in my mind, I'm like, what was I thinking about at this moment in life?
Right.
And then it kind of gets me through that funk.
I was telling John that today too about your first love. He said Revelations. I was reading that earlier to him. Revelations. Was it 2 and 5?
Right.
Yeah.
Revelations chapter 2.
Yeah. Verse 5.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 5. Remember therefore from whence thou art fallen.
And that's really where watch, read on.
And repent. And do the first works.
And that's really what it is. It's like a lot of brothers and sisters, they start getting dipped in the fire of affliction, tribulation, and persecution, and correction, and then they forget that all they needed to do was be faithful. You came in off of faith, learning, and knowing that you're changing and things are renewing in your life. You need to be consistent in that. So yeah, and it takes you going back thinking, wait a minute, what was it? Usually, it's you being faithful. You see what I'm saying? Like I told John on the phone today, it's like when you first got the truth, how many scriptures did you need to know not to eat pork? 1. But now, brothers and sisters, no, you got to show me that. According to the science of, it's like now we got to get history. We got to talk about what this brother said on YouTube. It's like you came in faithful. What happened? Now everything's overcomplicated because you are no longer abiding faithful. You've been hurt here, you've been hurt there. Now it's like, I can't trust nobody. What happened to the faith? Abide faithful. And that's what he's saying. Remember when you first came in, when the brothers told you, put down the weed, put down the dope, put down the drugs. Same thing we're still doing. We're still trying to pull you away from that worldly mind. It's just those stages. After you put down the weed, the dope, the drugs, the Halloween and Christmas, now it really gets real because now you got to put down the what? The ego. You didn't know that you was proud. You didn't know that you was a lustful person. You didn't know that you was a doubtful person. That's really when men start to bubble up, sisters start to bubble up, and I don't have to do this. You're picking on me, or no. The Most High is constantly working and pulling these things out of you. You see that? And then it goes to the next level on commitment, dedication, all these things, man. The Most High, it don't stop until we're. It don't matter how many years you've been in the truth. The Most High is still putting us through it, still putting me through it. It don't matter. How are you going to be dedicated? Could you deal with the insult and injury of ignorant niggas and then still have to keep going for the Most High in Christ. It don't stop. So y'all gotta look, man, for the he that endured to the end. Brothers are too temporary. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I only can go this far and then I'm done with that. Then you're gonna be done with the truth. Quick. You know what I mean? Was that it on that? What other? Go ahead, finish it.
And repent and do the first works.
And do the what?
First works.
And do the first works. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be doing the first works. So, yeah. Let's jump to the next question real quick because I'm going to go into Genesis 3.
I don't know if you want. It says, Yah was mad at the angels for mating with the human on earth. So why did he choose Mary, which was on earth? Sorry, my question was last.
What? Yah was what?
Yah was mad at the angels for mating with the human on earth. So why did he choose Mary, which was on earth?
Those weren't angels. Okay, those weren't angels. We've been over that. We've been over that class. Huh? Yeah, we'll put the script, the class in there for you, and then yeah, we'll put that in there for you. We touched on that topic before. Those weren't angels. Those were what we were back in the days. We were all giants. All right, so yeah, we're gonna send you to class because it's gonna stop me from going over the class I'm going over tonight to go into that question right there. That's gonna take another few hours. All right. So what else we got? Do we got anything quick?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Jasher is mentioned in 2 Samuel 1:17. Do we read from it?
The book of Jasher? Yeah, the book of Jasher is in Samuel's 17, right? But the book that they call the book of Jasher is not in the Bible. See, that's the difference. If I write a book and I'd be like, listen, this is the book of, what's another name they got in there that said they got a book? All right, there's another book. If you look up the book of Edo, okay? Like if I write a book and say, yeah, this is the book of Edo, the name is written in the Bible, but the actual book I wrote. So what the misconception is that we're getting from a lot of people is, and a lot of people haven't studied on it, is that this book they call the book of Jasher doesn't go with the Bible. There's too many contradictions that go against the Bible. We actually just did a show on that. It's an old one, but we posted it new. Yeah, so the book of Jasher is not in the Bible. Right? In the sense of this book that they call the book of Jasher doesn't agree with what the Bible says. Okay, so you got many books out there. They got a book called Adam and Eve, where it tells you that there was there was Adam and Eve and another woman and all these things that don't say in the Bible, right? There's a lot of madness out there that they're calling Bible books, but they're not. So yeah, you gotta be able to know what books are biblical and what books are not. There's they got the book of Enoch. We just went over that. There's too many things that contradict against the word for it to be part of the Bible. It's too many things, you know. And it was something like one of the things in the book of Enoch were that we don't supposed to do our feasts by the moon. And this is what I heard from these brothers that deal with this book of Enoch. You don't supposed to do your feast by the moon. That's straight against the command, against the scriptures.
God.
The scriptures tell you that our feast days were by the moon, right?
God.
Ecclesiastes 43.
Listen, it tells you right in Genesis Genesis 1, right? Yeah, for ordinances, signs, and seasons. So the thing is that there's a lot of things that when you get in these books, you start to see that they don't go with the Bible. Just because it sounds familiar, that don't mean it's on point. So you gotta keep that in mind. All right. So what else?
That's it, sir.
That's it on that. Let me see. I got one here. I gave. Okay, yeah. No, the brother Harrison is just letting me know somebody else is good. I'm not sure if the brother's on here now or not, a brother he was talking to. I mean, if you got any questions, now's the time. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what you got to do. You know, y'all got to, but here's the thing. You got to know the Bible to be able to go and say, oh, this don't coincide with it.
Right.
That's the whole thing about it. This is where a lot of young brothers and sisters are getting caught up. That they don't know the Bible, and they don't know the little things in the Bible that go against that. You understand?
Right.
And now they're like, oh, you know what? This is good because it sounds biblical.
Right.
But no, there's a lot of things in the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, that don't go with scriptures, that is against the Bible. So y'all got to remember, man, the Most High God is not the author of confusion. You know, what's up?
It's the same, like they say a little truth to spread a lot of lies.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and that's, as we go over this Genesis 3, you're going to see that's what Satan did. He mixed a little truth with lies, and which was deceptiveness, which was confusion to Eve. So, if y'all don't got any more questions, we can move forward then with the class.
No questions, sir.
None? You can switch that over, sis, to Genesis 3. All right, so let's do that. Let's go to Genesis 3, verse 1. Go to Genesis 3 and 1.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
And listen, y'all got to take good notes.
Good.
Yeah, this is going to be online, but y'all got to take good notes. That way y'all can have all of this down. Where's that dictionary? Get the black dictionary.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Gone.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got that? Yeah, sis.
Sister Jasmine had a question after you answered a question about the Book of Jasher.
Go ahead.
She said, what parts of Jasher do not coincide with the Bible? Do we have any separate classes on this? I want to build my knowledge.
Okay. You know what we need to do? We just need to go over a class on that. You know what I mean? Get the Book of Jasher and go through and just show how what things don't go with the scriptures. So, cause yeah, we'll do that for you. I mean, because listen, at this point, you got so many cats spreading that madness that you got a lot of our brothers thinking that's part of literal, like that's like Matthew's. Like that book is actually part of the Bible. Like you got these brothers out there telling people before they even read the Bible, oh, you got to get the Book of Enoch, you got to get the Book of Jasher. Yep. Like they don't even know the Bible yet. Right. They don't even know, you know how to break down that they're of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and you're telling them about Jasher and Enoch, which these books ain't on point. So the Book of Jasher, we'll get it together. I'll get one. I'll get a class together for you on that. And we'll just get the book and just go through it. Say, look, this is what this says. This is what the Bible says. All right?
Right.
That's easy. All right, let's go ahead and go on then. Let's go ahead and go on to Genesis 3, verse 1. Somebody read that.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Right. So, we have to start out understanding that this serpent is the spiritual being Satan. He's not the physical counterpart, because somebody asked that the other day. What serpent was it? You got the spiritual demon Satan, okay, which does the work of the Most High, is at his bidding. Then you got his physical counterpart, right?
Good.
You got them two, okay? The physical is here on the earth, right?
Good.
And he does the work of Satan. We're not going over that class. We're just going to go over Genesis. I went over that the other day. So, but this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Okay?
Good.
So, what does it mean by serpent, though? Because I think this is the biggest problem. You know, when she throws images up there, they put the image of an actual serpent. Right?
Good.
That the serpent slides around Eve and gave Eve the apple, and then Adam took part of it. Put that one image of the what was that one we got up there? Is it Time Life? No, it's
Time Magazine.
Time
Magazine.
It might be Time Magazine, but just do Black Adam and Eve. It should come up. But it's one we use for our cable show. But let's look up the word serpent to understand that this wasn't an actual snake. This wasn't an actual snake. Go ahead, read that.
It says a subtle or malicious person.
Right. So a serpent is a subtle or malicious person. That's what a serpent is. Okay? So when it says that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, it's talking about this crafty, cunning, deceptive individual. Like, you'd be like, man, that dude's a snake.
God.
Right? Oh, she's a snake. You see the images they got there? That's what they put in our head. Christianity put, it was an actual serpent that deceived Eve. First of all, there's nothing new under heaven. Serpents right now, snakes, right, that are on their belly, they don't walk and they don't talk. So we have to understand, starting out, and I'm explaining this because we got new people in class, and y'all got to understand that the Bible speaks three ways: symbolically, prophetically, and historically. So Genesis 1, 2, and 3, and a lot of the Bible you're going to see uses a lot of symbolism. So it's in this instance is using symbolism. What you got?
It says a serpent, a sly or treacherous person, especially one who exploits a position of trust in order to betray it.
Right. You see that? That's what a serpent is. Right?
Right.
Now go to Revelations 12, verse 9. Let's read about this serpent. Because we're going to find out that he has different names. This is to show you that it wasn't a snake. Okay? This is to show y'all it was not a snake in the Garden of Eden sneaking around, deceiving people. Read that. Revelations 12 and 9.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 9.
Go ahead.
And the great dragon was cast out.
Right, because a dragon is another name for this entity. Now, in Revelations, it's talking about both. This is like a dual meaning here, because it's going to be, their kingdom is going to be overthrown, but Satan himself is going to be taken down. Okay? His power is going to be taken away. All right?
Good.
So, I want y'all to listen. Read it again.
Verse 9, Revelations 12 and 9.
Go ahead.
And that great dragon was cast out.
So a dragon is just a big serpent. Okay? So this was symbolic of this nation, but it's also symbolic of who they follow.
God.
Which is who?
America.
The devil.
God.
The devil. They followed the spiritual demon Satan. Or did y'all think America was a God-fearing, loving Christian society? No. This kingdom follows the devil. So one of his names was the great dragon. Go ahead.
That old serpent.
The what?
That old serpent.
The what?
That old serpent.
Y'all get this?
Come on.
So what's another name for the serpents? The dragon. Watch, we're going to go on. Go ahead.
Which called the devil.
He's called the what?
Called the devil.
He's called the what?
Called the devil.
Read.
And Satan.
Right. So now we know that the old serpent was who?
Satan.
Let's repeat. The dragon. He's known as the dragon. The serpent. The devil. And Satan. So serpent means what?
Subtle or malicious person.
Subtle or malicious person, right? Okay. Well, what does devil mean? Because remember, y'all are like, well, why is that necessary? Because the white man in Christianity told us the serpent was a snake, the devil was a guy with horns in a tail, right? Right? Is that not what they tell you, sis?
Yeah.
They tell you that. But now we're finding out that this serpent was the old serpent in the garden. He was also known as the devil, which means what?
Deceiver.
It means what?
Deceiver.
It means deceiver. What you got?
Devil. And the accuser. An evil spirit or being, the evil one.
Right.
A very wicked person.
Right. There you go. Devil. What else you got?
A person appointed to raise doubts against the claims of a candidate for. Yeah, that's it.
Right, a candidate. So there you go. A person to raise doubts. He's the deceiver.
Okay.
Right? And Satan means what?
Adversary.
Satan means adversary. So these are all names and characteristics of what this demon, right, does. He's an evil, deceiving, deceptive, sly, crafty, cunning entity. And guess who follows him? On earth, there's a people that follow him. They're subtle, crafty, cunning, deceitful, evil. Esau, right? That's another class. We're not going into that. We're talking about this spiritual demon, Satan, right?
God.
Testing. Go ahead.
Question, sir.
Go ahead.
My question is, could you repeat what the dragon was?
So the dragon was just dragon just means big serpent. So it's talking about this entity, okay? And how do we know what entity Revelations is talking about? Who knows? Who knows? Who's with me? How do we know what Revelations, what we just read in 12 and 9, how do we know who this is talking about? Why?
Because it says that old serpent.
Because it said what?
That old serpent.
It said the old serpent,
Damn.
which was... Stop with all that.
No, I'm
right, you're getting it, right?
Yeah.
So, in Revelation 12 and 9, it's telling us that old serpent called who?
The devil.
Well, I thought he was a serpent. Well, he is a serpent, being that he's sly, crafty, cunning, and deceitful. And he's a deceiver, and he's an adversary to the Most High.
God.
Right?
God.
Go ahead.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
Right. Well, Satan deceives the whole world through his what? Physical counterpart. Like I said, I'm not going in that topic. We know that spirit of the devil worketh in them, right?
God.
Okay? But we're talking about this spiritual demon that was in the time of Genesis. He's known as the old serpent, the devil, Satan, right? Which deceiveth the whole world. Go ahead.
he was cast out into the earth.
Read.
And his angels were cast out with him.
Right, showing you that it's also talking about the spiritual being, and also this is speaking about his physical counterpart. Because they're both going to be destroyed. Y'all get that?
Come.
Go to Ezekiel 28 verse 14. Because we're trying to figure out and trying to get understanding that the serpent in the garden wasn't a snake. We're understanding, according to Revelation 12 and 8, that it said the old serpent was called the devil, It said it said what's called the devil and Satan, right?
Good.
So those are the names he goes by. He goes by the adversary. He goes by the devil, the deceiver. He goes by the serpent because he's sly, crafty, cunning, and deceitful, right? No, hold off on that. Hold off on Ezekiel 28. I'm going to jump. Go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. 2 Corinthians 11 verse 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
2 Corinthians
11
and 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3.
Go ahead.
But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled me.
Right, so the serpent did what to Eve?
Beguiled Eve.
He tricked her, right? Go ahead.
Through his subtlety.
Through his what?
Subtlety.
Because he was deceptive. Y'all get this? So when it says here back in Genesis 3, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Well, the serpent had more wisdom. In what? Wickedness.
Good.
He was smarter. You know, just like, and I'm using this example for y'all to really get the gist of this. When you don't know sexual relations, right? And somebody pushes pornography in your face, what is that going to do to your spirit?
Deposit.
It's going to distort you.
Good.
Especially if you're a young man, you're a young woman. So what Satan does is, in Eve's young mind, he comes in and distorts her outlook with all this deceptiveness, which we're going to go on and we're going to find out. So he did it with subtlety, though, and we're going to find out what that is. So go ahead.
So your minds should be corrupt from the simplicity.
Simplicity.
That is in Christ.
Yeah, the simplicity we're going to find out was that all she had to do was obey. Obey. The simplicity was all she had to do was follow the commandments, but she didn't. So therefore she was deceived.
Done.
So, okay. Are y'all understanding now Satan, or excuse me, that the serpent was talking about the devil? Are y'all? Well, here's a little more clarification. This is going to straight to the point. If you said, well, I don't understand that. This is straight to the point. 2 Corinthians 11:14. What's up, Bob?
There was one question.
On this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the question?
So was the serpent that deceived Eve a so-called white man or black man?
We went over that, and this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, this is talking about the adversary, the actual spiritual demon Satan at this time. It ain't talking about the white man, because the Esau didn't come till Genesis 25. Even Cain, right? He wasn't cursed with leprosy till after. Okay? So this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan and what he did. And it's going to get clear. All right? Remember, what did we just read? Go back to 2 Corinthians 11 and 1. To clarify for this individual that just asked. 2 Corinthians 11 and 1. Read that. 11 and 3. Sorry.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3.
Right.
But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety.
Right. So the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety. Well, we know it wasn't the spirit. It wasn't his physical counterpart, because his physical counterpart wasn't around yet. Right? He wasn't created till later. We're talking about the spiritual being. And it's going to get more clear. Go ahead.
So your minds shall be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
Now, go to the next scripture.
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
And no marvel.
And no what?
Marvel.
Read.
For Satan himself.
Wait a minute. So, who is Satan? Yeah. Who is the devil?
Adversary, deceiver.
He's the serpent. The adversary, the devil, is the serpent. Right? He did what?
Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
He did what?
Transformed into an angel of light.
So now we're understanding even more. When Satan came, how did he look?
Like us.
Like an angel.
No, he looked like an angel of light. You understand that?
That's what I was about to ask the question, because Adam and Eve at the time, it was getting that direct conversation with the Most High. So they was getting that direct, communication from Satan as well. That's real. That's heavy.
Yeah. So but listen, it's no different than now. Not there. Listen, Ecclesiastes 1. There's nothing new under heaven. There's nothing new under heaven. Satan comes to you now. He comes to you as an angel of light now in certain arenas. Right? It be through your family. It be through your mama. It be through wrong counsel, wrong wisdom. You see that? So it's not different. The thing is that you're talking about the Most High just created everything, right? And this entity, they're fresh in paradise, right? They're fresh in paradise, Adam and Eve, right? And this entity comes and reveals himself as an angel of light. He didn't even come like a snake. People not understanding. It says he came as an angel of light.
Good.
You see that?
Good.
But he's known as these names because that's how he comes. He comes deceptive, sly, crafty, cunning, and deceitful. So this is what it means read it again. Come on.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Into an angel of light. So he came. Think about it, man. This is the first woman, the righteous. I'll put it like this: the righteous man, the righteous woman on earth, and then you come like looking with horns and pitchfork.
They gonna know something.
They're gonna run.
Or an actual snake.
Or an actual snake, you're gonna run.
Or a spider.
Whatever it is, you're gonna run. But what happened was he came as an angel of light. That's why he said, don't be deceived like Eve was deceived. So it says, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through its subtlety, so your minds be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ. Then he goes on in 14 and says, how Eve was deceived. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So serpent is showing you how he came. Y'all got this?
Come on.
All right. Let's get a little more then. Let's see here. All right, go back to Genesis 3 verse 1.
Genesis chapter 3 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Right. So we're still talking about the serpent, right? So who's the serpent known as?
The devil, Satan.
The adversary, right? The serpent, the devil, adversary, the dragon. These are all characteristics of this demon, this spiritual demon. Okay? Let me show you something else. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 2 verse 24. Just showing you that this was a being. This was a man. He didn't come like a creature. Now, yeah, angels can come as anything they want. But listen, if an angel, just like the donkey when he talked, you're going to look at him like he crazy, right?
God.
If a donkey or a snake talk to you, you'd be like, what the? Right. You probably run first of all. So, no. Read this. Just showing you he came as an angel of light. Read.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 24.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil.
Through what?
envy of the devil.
Through the envy of the devil, the other name for the serpent, right?
Go on.
Through the envy of the devil, go ahead.
Came death into the world.
Go ahead.
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
Right, and they that hold on his side do find death. So, where we read that one more time. Where are you at?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 24.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil,
Through the envy of the devil, go ahead.
came death into the world.
Go ahead.
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
So, it wasn't a snake. It was through the envy of the deceiver, the devil. Now, y'all know the devil is not a snake, right? It's just he is like the serpent, crafty, cunning, deceitful, deceptive. Y'all got that? All right. So, what do we got so far then? What do we got so far? What do we got? Yeah.
We understand that the serpent was not a reptile.
So, but why did the Bible use serpent?
Because they were showing the characteristics of this individual.
They were showing the characteristics of the individual, right? So, what was the other name for this entity, this individual?
The dragon.
The what?
The dragon.
The dragon, right? What else? What other name, Lakarab?
The devil.
The devil, which means what?
The accuser or the deceiver.
Right, the deceiver.
Or the adversary.
Right, and what does Satan mean? Satan mean
adversary.
Satan means adversary. Devil means evil deceiver. Y'all get this? So, why did he use serpent?
Because it shows the characteristics of this individual.
Right, and what did he do?
He deceived her, beguiled her.
He beguiled her, according to 2 Corinthians 11:3. Y'all see that? According to, but we know, if you wanted to look at how he looked, it said in verse 14, he came as an angel of light. Paul knew this. Yeah, he came beautiful. He came shining. Paul knew it. That's why he spoke on it. They knew he didn't come as a serpent. This is symbolic. So let's go back.
Genesis chapter 3. Verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Right, so the Most High is showing us. Now, being that y'all didn't get Genesis 1 and 2, well, y'all got it, but at different times. We know that the Most High created everything. Okay? He created male and female, created he, them. Watch. Go to Genesis 5. Let me just throw this in there to kind of give them a summary of what happened before Genesis 3. Let's read Genesis 5 and 1.
Genesis chapter 5 verse 1.
Go ahead.
This is the book of the generation of Adam.
Go ahead.
In the day that God created man.
Right.
In the likeness of God made he him.
Go ahead.
Male and female created he them.
Right.
And blessed them.
And blessed what?
And blessed them.
Right.
And called their name.
Male and female, and called their name. Go ahead.
Adam.
Called their name Adam. So it was a people, male and female, called Adam.
God.
Right? It was a people on the earth.
God.
Now, you got to reiterate these things because, first of all, we got a new sister in class to know, we have to know that there was more than one person on the earth at this time.
God.
When he said male and female, he called their name Adam. Right?
God.
And how do we know there was more people at this time?
The scripture.
Yeah, what is scripture? How do we know? Lakarab.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 16.
Genesis 4, verse 16. It's going to let us know how we know that there were more people at this time, right?
God.
That it wasn't like the church taught us. It was just one man Adam, one woman Eve, right?
God.
There was a people, male and female, called Adam, right?
God.
Go ahead, read that.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 16.
Go ahead.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord. Now, according to church, they told us what? You had Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, right?
God.
Well, we know Cain killed Abel, right?
God.
Now you're down to 3 people on earth, right?
God.
Okay, but what does the Bible say? Go ahead.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord.
Go ahead.
And dwelt in the land of Nod.
Right. So, two things here. A land is named after what?
A person.
A person name. That's the first hint. The second is straight to the point. Go ahead.
On the east of Edom.
Go ahead.
And Cain knew his wife.
Where did Cain get a woman from if there was only Adam, Eve, Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel? That makes 3. Where did he get his wife from?
God.
They didn't understand Genesis 5. Read it again.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 1.
2. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Male and female created he them. And blessed them.
Right.
And called their name Adam.
He called their name Adam.
God.
Male and female. So you had a people known as the Adamites.
God.
Which is, Adam in Hebrew is what? Come on, y'all. Somebody pass the officer 100 cents. Right? Isn't it on there?
Means of the earth.
Right. No, Adamah. You got to be careful with that because that's what they try to say it means. Adawam is Esau. But Adamah, which is from the earth. So these people were from the earth.
God.
Adamites. Y'all get this?
God.
All right. We got to get that out of the way because we can't go to Genesis 3 and know about this symbolism of beasts unless we understand that there was people. There was a multitude of people here.
God.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go back to Genesis 3
God.
and read where you're at.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
It's like in verse 1.
Verse 1. We're still there. We haven't even moved. You see how many precepts you need to explain serpent?
God.
Because they would still be thinking it's a snake. When Revelations, John the Revelator said that old serpent called the devil and Satan, Paul came back and said even Satan himself transformed into an angel of light.
God.
Right? And be not deceived because the serpent beguiled Eve. Right?
God.
Showing you that this entity, this being, deceived. Then we went to Wisdom of Solomon to show you straight out through the envy of the devil is why Adam and Eve fell. Y'all get this?
God.
Okay. Am I moving too fast, sis? Okay, I want to move real slow so it won't get all jumbled up. All right, so we had to get Satan out the way, the serpent, to show who she was dealing with. That's one of the misconceptions. Now, read on.
Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field,
right,
which the Lord God had made.
Right. So now you're thinking beasts as in, well, animals. Right?
God.
Because serpent's an animal, and you're thinking, well, beast is an animal. Right?
God.
Well, what's the point of the serpent deceiving animals? Or being more deceptive than any animals? What does that have to do with humanity? Nothing. That's why this is symbolic. The beast represented people. The beast represented these people that were, like the Bible says, beastly. All right, go to Psalms 73 verse 22 to show you that the Bible speaks in this context calling us beasts, but only at a certain time. All right, read that.
Psalms chapter 73, verse 22.
So beasts, if you're taking good notes, serpent, and it should be serpent was the devil, the adversary, the enemy, and all the scriptures should go under that to prove that. Then you should go beasts was beastly people, we're going to find out, and then you should put the scriptures under that to prove that. Or, that way you can have how to prove what's going on here. All right, go ahead.
God. Psalms chapter 73, verse 22.
Go ahead.
So foolish was I.
Go ahead.
And ignorant.
Read.
I was a beast before thee.
Wait a minute. So when are we known as beasts? Read it from the top.
So foolish was I.
When are you known as a beast? When you're foolish.
God.
Before the Most High's man. Look out there. We're like animals.
Yeah.
We're like beasts.
Same thing.
Doing the same thing. What are you eating? Anything. Eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobsters, oysters, caviar, crawfish, cow this, cow that, cow tongue, cow toes, cow nuts, pig feet, alligator. You're like an animal.
God.
When you're foolish, think about you still see it these days. Every time I see it, it irks me. You got a grown ass man. He has 3 pants on. He got his drawers on. He got shorts on, so when he sags, and then he got his pants on, just to see his ass. That's a beast. When you see him running around, smacking his wife around, and his wife running around on YouTube twerking with a period stain, that's a beast. While she's pregnant. That's beastly. When we're ignorant, what you was gonna say?
How's she pregnant with a period?
Hey, it wasn't a period stain then. It was probably a doo-doo stain. I know this. I know I seen it. You can't take it away from me. So it's on YouTube and I seen it. Or World Star. That's a beast. We're beasts without the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. Y'all get this? Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Nevertheless, read it from the top.
So foolish was I,
and
ignorant.
Read.
I was as a beast before thee.
Right, I was as a beast before you. So remember, the Bible speaks symbolic. That's what you're going to get in a lot of this Genesis. And that's why a lot of these pastors and preachers don't know what the heck they're talking about, because they're not doing precept upon precept and saying, wait a minute, let the Bible explain itself. I mean, it's clear. He said the old serpent was called the devil and Satan. Like, why are you trying to say he's a serpent, an actual snake, when he's telling you these are just names for the serpent?
Right.
The Bible tells us we beasts when we are without the knowledge of the Most High. So the serpent was more subtle than any other person, any other of these low-minded animals of the world. And you know what? He's still that way. If you really want to get deep into this, why is the beast, Satan more subtle than any beast of the field now? Except the sons of God. Why? Because he's crafty, cunning, and deceitful and deceptive. With his media, he influences you. With his dress, he dresses you. With his knowledge, he teaches you and changes you. He's still, listen, there's a filter going. The devil is working through his physical counterpart, and his physical counterpart does exactly and thinks exactly like him. Raping, robbing, murdering, deceptive, lying, deceiving. It's nothing different. So when you talk about if he's still wiser, he is still wiser. Why do you think it says the children of this world is wiser than the children of light? Why? Because in wickedness, in filth, they're wiser. Not in righteousness, so don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. They're wiser in wickedness. And that's what that scriptures mean. It says the children of this world is wiser than the children of light because they're wise to do evil. But to do good they know not. So, yeah, they're still wise, but not wiser than the sons of God. Why? Because we know we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So, no, we don't apply to these beasts. You know what we were? We were the sons of God that everybody gets so mixed up about. They thinking that's angels. That was us. We were the sons of God. We are still the sons of God. Y'all get that? Okay. So, go from there. Go to Psalms 32, verse 9. Let's get more showing that the symbolism of these words. Beast was used through the scriptures referring to man. Read that.
Psalms chapter 32 and verse 9.
And common sense would tell you, why is it relevant? What's the word? What is it?
Relevant.
Relevant. Why is it relevant that the beast was wiser than cows and ducks and cattle? That doesn't make no sense. It says, through thy precepts I get understanding. So this is what we're finding out. Go ahead and read that. Psalms 32 verse 9.
Be ye not as the horse.
Now he's calling you a what?
Horse.
Another beast.
God.
Why? Because you act like a what?
Horse.
Read.
Or as the mule.
Now he's calling you a what? An ass. Why? Because he's saying don't be like them, because when you are and you're foolish and ignorant, you're like a horse. You're stubborn, stiff-necked, you move when you want to, right? He said don't be like them, or the mule. Go ahead.
Which have no understanding.
Read.
Whose mouth must be held, and with bit and brittle.
Yeah, he's saying don't be like the animals. Why? Because when you're stubborn, when you're without the law, according to Psalm 73:22, when you're foolish and ignorant, you act like a beast.
God.
Pick which animal. He's saying here, when you act like this, you're going to be like the mule or the horse. Y'all get this? You finish that?
Wow.
Go ahead.
Least they come near unto thee.
Uh-huh. Right. Go to Psalms 92 verse 6. Psalms 92 verse 6.
Psalm chapter 92 and verse 6.
We haven't even moved from verse 1. Why? Because those are the most. One is the whole theme. Everybody's keep thinking a snake deceived and all that. We got to destroy that. Or there were beasts running around and cattle. No, man, these were human beings running around, acting like animals, acting like beasts. Now we get more clarification when it comes down to the Tower of Babel. What were they doing? They were acting like animals. Right? They were doing all kind of defiled things. You want to know what? Well, what were they doing? There's nothing new under heaven. Go look out there in the world. Go look at what they're doing. Homosexuality, orgies, drugs, whorism, adultery, murdering, killing. You had to be there to know. No, this is the same madness that was going on back then. It's the same thing that's going on in this generation. That's why this kingdom and kingdoms before were known as Babylon the Great. Because it was the same chaos and confusion. All right, so let's finish this point here. Read.
Psalm chapter 92 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
A brutish man knoweth not.
A beastly. Look up the word brutish. Maybe they're thinking, well, that don't mean beast. Look up brutish. It's showing you a beastly man. Go ahead.
Knoweth not.
Go ahead.
Neither doeth a fool understand it.
A fool don't understand. That's why you got a lot of brothers and sisters that don't want to understand. Talking about it's okay to have anal sex. You needed a law that says thou shalt not put your penis in an anal cavity. Like, really? You didn't get that from you're taking the natural use of the woman? You didn't get that? That the natural use of the anus is to defecate?
A waste portal?
Yeah, like you're tripping, man. But the problem is this, that we're in that beastly mind, not we, but you got brothers in that beastly mind that still think that's okay.
Right.
And they want to engraft that in. That's defiled. Go ahead. Beast, brutish, what do you got?
Brutish, a beast.
A what?
A beast.
It says a what?
A beast.
See, we knew that a man can act like a beast. So the Bible is telling you that these beasts of Satan was more subtle than any human being, any man, any beast. Go ahead. All right, so jump from there. Go to Psalms 49 and 19. And I'm gonna give you all the scriptures that go with the verse, so you can't have no doubt. Like, okay, that is undeniable. Go ahead and read that.
Psalm chapter 49 and verse 19.
Go ahead.
He shall go to the generation of his father.
Go ahead.
They shall never see light.
Right. Why? Because without the wisdom of the Most High, Psalm 73:22, You're gonna die, but without righteousness, without the law, without the commandments, without the Most High leading you. You die in darkness. You know, it's almost like the Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
You come into the world, you're cursed thou be when thou comest in, and the only thing they got was tatted up on a wall. You die without light and without wisdom, without the knowledge of the Most High. You're born into sin and you die in your sins. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Go ahead.
Man that is in honor.
Man that is in honor. Go ahead.
And understandeth not.
Read.
Is like the beast.
It's like the what?
The beast.
Go ahead.
That perish.
There it is. A man doesn't understand this, he's like a beast that perish. So this is what it means that there was beast. Okay, we're not done. Go to Ecclesiastes 3:18. Yeah, I think it, no, that's in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 18. So, you know, remember, a lot of y'all are thinking like, well, dang, I don't need these many scriptures. I got it. Nah, you got some people out there that want to combat and battle everything. You got 75 scriptures, not 75, but you get it. You got all these scriptures to know, okay, this is what the scripture, this is how the Bible teaches. This is how it speaks. It's not foreign. All right, go ahead and read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 18.
Go ahead.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Go ahead.
That God might manifest them.
Go ahead.
That they might see that they themselves are beasts.
I mean, do I got to keep going with this? It says that they of themselves are beasts.
Come on.
All the symbolism out of the way, he straight calls you a what?
Beast.
A beast. Why? Because what he's saying is, obviously you're not a cow or a donkey or a horse. He's saying that when you don't got the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you might as well be like an animal. Why? Because you have no purpose. You have no goals. Right? The beasts, they come in the world and they just eat and eat, feed off of each other, live and die. One more. 2 Peter's 2. That was Ecclesiastes 3 verse 18. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 18.
Peter's 2 and what?
Ecclesiastes 3 verse 18. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was the last scripture. 2 Peter's 2 verse 12. Read that.
2 Peter chapter 2 verse 12.
Go ahead.
But these, as natural brute beasts.
These as natural what?
Brute beasts.
Go ahead.
Made to be taken and destroyed.
Right. You know what he's talking about? Israel. He's talking about the ones that rebel. He's talking about the ones that don't want to understand, that don't want to get it. He's talking about the ones that's tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. And this is what he's talking about. When you go up and read, that's what he's talking about. He said they are what?
God. But these as natural brute beasts.
Go ahead.
Made to be taken and destroyed.
Made to be taken and destroyed. You see that? So a man can be a beast. Go ahead.
Speak evil of the things that they understand not.
Yeah, well, that's another topic. All right. So let's go back to Genesis 3. Yeah. Go back to Genesis 3. All right. And we're going to read from Run again. Now that we got the understanding, read on down.
Genesis chapter 3 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Now the serpent was more subtle, right? So the angel, this angel that came as an angel of light, was more subtle than any person, any of these people. Go ahead.
Of the field which the Lord God had made.
Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right. Question, right? You got a question mark. Hopefully y'all all got one in your Bible. Because what did he do to her?
Got her thinking.
He got her thinking, right?
God.
But he got her thinking and twisted the words.
God.
So why is he called the evil deceiver? Because he told her but he twisted it. Right?
Con.
So read that part again.
Yea, and he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right.
And the woman said,
Right. Now, I want you to jump back to 2 Corinthians 11:3. Let's establish, what did he do? Satan here is casting doubt in Eve's mind. Why? Because he's dealing with wordplay. He's dealing with wordplay, and he knows how to come and confuse the mind. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language, they are blackened to the ground. That just means that they're going through affliction. But he said they're black unto the ground. Right? Satan uses words.
God.
Oh, his feet like they burnt in a furnace. Oh, they glowed. Dude, it already said his feet were brown as if they burned.
Stop it.
But the devil want to do what? Oh, he wasn't really dark skinned.
He's like manipulating.
Yeah. They know how to play with words.
Color doesn't matter.
Right, color doesn't matter.
Semantics.
Yeah, you guys are racist. Why? Because they put everybody up as white, and we try to say our Savior's dark skinned. They what? Oh, you guys are racist. Color doesn't matter, but God, every image behind him is Caucasian.
God.
It's deceptiveness. Y'all get this?
God.
So he's playing with words. Okay? So go ahead and read that. Read that one more time to reiterate what happened, what was going on with Eve. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3.
Go ahead.
But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve.
Right. The serpent beguiled Eve. How did he trick her? Go ahead.
Through his subtlety.
Through his what?
Subtlety.
Through his subtlety. Right? We know that according to Ecclesiastes, what it was, Wisdom of Solomon 2:24. First of all, it was envy in this man, in this entity, right? That he came through and he deceived her. Y'all get this? He deceived her from the simplicity. Go ahead.
So your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
So why was she corrupted from the simplicity? Because the simplicity is, like he told Samuel in Samuel's 15, obedience is better than sacrifice. So how am I going to complicate it for the woman? I'm going to go ahead and cast doubt in her mind, and I'm going to twist the command up. And that's what was going on here. He was wise. He was smart.
God.
So go back. So now that we know he corrupted the simplicity that she was supposed to do, she was supposed to follow. Right. That's all she was supposed to do. She wasn't supposed to second guess, second question. The commandment was this. You were supposed to follow that. If anything, if you doubt it, you were supposed to go do what?
Talk to your husband.
You were supposed to go home and talk to your husband and say, baby, this beautiful man over here was telling me this, and that, and this. Now, I ain't do it. I ain't partake in that. I know it's wrong and off. That's what she was supposed to do. But Eve, she went from the simplicity. You know, like the white man does today, dealing with our women. Doing what? What do? You can do what you want to do. All they got to say is, they put out in the 90s, independent woman. You know what I mean? You don't got to wear a dress. Oh, man, that was it. S.W.V, pants, Aaliyah, you know what I mean? Pants, boots, you know what I mean? What are panties sticking out like? Look at me, I'm independent. You know what I mean? TLC, right? And then now what? Then you got feminism on the rise. That's what Satan does, right? Why? Because you don't want to be less of a person, right? Who wants to be less of a person? So they play on their ego. And that's what Satan does. He plays and tricks our people with deceptiveness, lying, right? with deceiving. Y'all get this?
Come.
Okay. So read that again in Genesis 3.
Genesis chapter 3, second precept.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God...
No. 3. Yeah, second precept. And he said, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right. So question, right?
Come.
Now go from there, go to Matthew 4 and 1. Let's see what Satan did. Let's understand. Now we know this is the devil.
Come.
We're going to find out something common about Satan in the scriptures. He's always done this. See, this is why you got to have the precepts. A lot of people don't read the Bible, so they wouldn't know that this is what Satan does. It wasn't no snake. It was the adversary doing what he's been doing all through the Bible, but you don't read it. You over there reading every other book.
Right.
You won't understand. Right. That's right, brother.
Bring it up. They read everything.
Yeah, they read everything except the scriptures.
Instagram, Facebook.
Right. You on that all day.
Angels.
Right. And they'd be quick. And I'm just saying this in general because that's why I said you got brothers that know about the Book of Jasher but haven't read the full Bible once.
Can't counsel a damn body.
Once. All right? So read that. Matthew 10, verse 16.
10, 16?
4 1.
Matthew 10, 16 first, and then we'll go to 4 and 1.
Okay.
Let's see what Satan did. Read that.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Go ahead.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents.
Listen. Let me ask y'all a question. When is a serpent wiser than a human? When was a snake wiser than a human? Never, man. I don't care how thick they moving in the grass. You see them, that's it. They getting stumped out. But it's showing you the characteristic of what we're supposed to be. Now, is he saying be demonic and evil? No, he's having, like we read in Proverbs, giving subtlety unto the simple. So he's telling us to be wise, thinking like the serpents.
Yes, sir.
So you think, okay, the devil pulls us over, right? His job is to catch us slipping. So agree with thy adversary quickly. You got to be, if they pull you over, it's dark at night, you're a dark brother, you leave all the windows up, your tent is 3 times black. Won't you use a little subtlety like them? Turn on all your lights in your car, roll your windows down. Now you're using being wise as serpents. So what the problem is, their wisdom is overriding us. That's why I saw a cell phone in his hand. That's what they just said about this other brother in San Francisco. It looked like a gun. That's all they need is to say it looked like a gun. But you running with your cell phone in your hand. I mean, come on. I mean, it looks like a gun. I can say it's a gun, right?
God.
That's the devil does that. But if you had wisdom, you would drop it. You would agree with your adversary. You would be doing this the whole way through. Not saying that's going to stop you from getting shot. So don't get me wrong. I'm real. I'm being realistic with this. That still will get you shot from the devil because that's why he's the devil. Okay, now back to the point. Being wise as serpent, well, Satan was more wise and subtle than any person of the field, any nation, any being right now. Y'all get this? Okay, so how was he subtle? Go to Matthew 4, verse 1.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 1.
Go ahead.
There was Yahushua up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
Go ahead. He was to be what?
Tempted of the devil.
Why is this so different? Y'all got to understand that this is no different than Yahushua being tempted of Satan. He was the tempted of the deceiver. Go ahead.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights,
right,
he was afterward and hungry.
Right. So we know how does Satan tempt. Come on.
he was afterward and hungry.
Right.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread.
So when did he come for you? When does Satan come for you? Yeah.
When you're weak.
Satan comes for you when you're weak. What else though?
Alone.
Alone?
Confused.
Con. Alone and confused. Thou art correct. Where?
I was going to say, it's like, in 2 Peter, when it speaks of him being a lion.
We're going to go there. You're jumping ahead. What?
When you want something.
When you what?
When your desires.
When your lust is controlling, Satan is the loudest person there. Yeah, get it. It's yours. Take that. Take that. Right?
God.
I mean, we could go through the examples of really how he talks to you, right? And how he knows when to come in. So he comes when you're weak. He comes when you're deep in your lust and your pride. He knows when to come. Con? Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Go ahead.
But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone.
This is what Eve didn't do. Eve didn't do this. She didn't have the word in her. Now, did she have the word? Con. We went over that in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. They were given strict commandments. That's why Cain knew what to sacrifice and didn't, and Abel gave the right sacrifice. They had the verbal laws. They didn't have Moses' written laws. They had verbal laws. Go ahead.
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God.
So Satan came with doubts. Satan came with second questioning and second guessing.
God.
Right? Yahushua came back with the scriptures. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city.
Go ahead.
And setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple.
Go ahead.
And said unto him,
Read.
if thou be the Son of God,
right,
cast thyself down.
Well, see, listen. He's using in and every power, everything that is going to weaken. He's using his hunger. He's using his pride and his lust. Right? But Yahushua was humble. But he's still going at that. Right?
God.
And when Satan goes at you, he goes for those things. Well, is this a prideful person? Is this a lustful person? Let's dangle some booty out there. Let's see what happens. Is he a doubtful person? Let's put some double-mindedness in the road. Right?
God.
Oh, that's easy, right? Oh, yeah, he's double-minded. That's easy. Now he's unstable in all his ways. Right? He's fearful and unbelieving. Let's put that out there. So Satan knows that's why he's wise. He's the serpent.
God.
Go ahead. Come on, somebody pick up. Zion, pick up.
Matthew chapter 4.
For it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee.
Right.
And in their hands they shall bear thee up.
And Satan shall do what? Satan uses scriptures also. Right?
God.
So you got to watch that. Go ahead.
And in their hands they shall bear thee up.
Go ahead.
Lest at any time thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone.
So this is what Eve didn't do. Y'all get this?
God.
All right, go to 1 Peter 5 and 8. 1 Peter 5 and 8.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8.
We're finding out how was the serpent subtle and what did he do to deceive Eve? We're finding that out right now. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8.
Go ahead.
Be sober.
Be what?
Be sober.
Read.
Be vigilant.
Read.
Because your adversary the devil,
Read.
as a roaring lion,
Right.
walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
So who did he go after? Did he go to Adam? He went to what?
The weaker vessel.
He went to his woman, the weaker vessel. Because there was something in her. There was something in her that he was going to tap in. There was something in her that he was going to identify with to cause her to fall to wisdom and knowledge of what he had.
God.
Right?
God.
Okay. Go to Psalms Psalms 55 verse 21. So how does he devour? How does he devour? How does Satan devour? Psalms 55 verse 21. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
They were what?
Smoother than butter.
Yeah. They were smoother than butter. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
Right, but it was about overthrowing. It was about destroying.
God.
This on the level. Listen, this is talking about his physical counterpart, what they do, and this is talking about the spiritual. His adversary, the devil, that's what he does.
God. That's why the definition of serpent, it says he plots to basically to win somebody's love but betray him at the end.
Wow.
That was serpent. Yeah.
Serpent. Nice. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil.
Read.
Yet were they drawn swords.
Why? Because all he comes but forth to do is to devour. You know, listen, y'all said y'all wanted the breakdown, so I'm taking it step by step. But you're not going to get it if I'm just blazing over it. That's why I'm methodically going through it like this, so you can have it and you can really understand what's going on here. So far, we understand that Satan, the serpent, was the adversary, the devil, the enemy, that transformed himself into an angel of light and came to Eve, because he came with wisdom that no beast of the field had. He was wiser than any person in this paradise. Y'all get this? And what did he do with Eve? He cast in Eve's mind doubt. No different than he tried to do with Christ. No different than he tries to do with us. He does it with Christ in Matthew 4:1. 1 Peter 5, he says he's looking for us, seeking whom he may devour. Right? As a roaring lion with smooth words that destroy you. Y'all get this? What you got?
Just that definition again.
Go ahead, read it.
It says, especially one who exploits a position of trust in order to betray it.
Y'all see this?
Serpent.
That's the serpent. And watch, man, that's, whew, oh my God, that's right on point, all right? Right on point. All right, go from there. Go to 1 Timothy 2, verse 14. 1 Timothy 2, verse 14.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Read that.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 14.
Go ahead.
And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived.
But the what?
But the woman being deceived.
Right, so I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, but still, we have to understand how this happened. It starts with verse 1. Everything. It happened with him casting double-mindedness in her mind. The woman was deceived through his subtlety and through his craftiness. Go ahead.
But the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
Okay, we'll get into that further as we get into this. So y'all get this, right? All right, one more scripture. No. All right, jump back. Jump back.
Genesis chapter 3.
The first one, the last part.
Last precept.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right. Ye shall not eat of the tree of every garden. Well, when you go to 2 verse 16, actually what he said was, and the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Now, but Satan said what? Have God said, ye shall eat of every tree of the garden? Well, excuse me, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So now he's word playing with her. Y'all get this? Read on.
Verse 2.
Read.
And the woman said unto the serpent,
We
may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
See, listen. You entertaining this demon, man.
Right.
You're entertaining this.
God.
A lot of sisters and brothers don't understand. You sit down with your coworker. You sit down with that person that don't believe. And instead of you overcoming them, with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're overcome. But how though? Hold that. Go to Proverbs 14, verse 15. I'm going to show you how you're overcome. See, here's the thing. That's why the scriptures say you got to study to show yourself approved. Everybody always knows. Everybody thinks they know. But you got to study. Read. Come on.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15.
Go ahead.
The simple believeth every word.
The what?
The simple believeth every word.
So Eve was what?
Simple.
Eve was what?
Simple.
Eve was simple.
God.
She was simple. She's entertaining this demon.
God.
I don't care how fine he looked. You get online and you what? You start entertaining Joe Donut Head online.
Right.
Because he got good abs or you like him. Same thing with simple-minded brothers. He's simple. Go ahead.
God, but the prudent man looketh well to his goings.
The prudent man looketh well to his goings. So Eve was being simple here. That was Proverbs 14 and 15. Y'all get this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go from there. Go back. Let's read 2 again.
Come on. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 2.
Read.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Right.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it.
Right. So, go ahead.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right. So, in verse 17, 2 and 17, the Most High said, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. So now he got her twisted, don't he? He got her.
She was like, I can eat every tree.
Yeah, I can eat every tree, right? She's not even dropping it like the Most High dropped it. For in the day thou eatest, therefore thou shalt surely die. Con?
God.
Read 3 again. Let's see what she said.
Damn. Verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it.
Right.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right.
And
right, lest ye die. Okay. Why? Because what we're going to find out is the trees, there's trees to eat, trees that were foods, and the tree of knowledge is literally that. It wasn't a tree. And let me ask y'all this. Do y'all see of any apple so far? Where's the apple at? Find that for me, and we'd burn down the school right now. No apples, right? No apples. Y'all get this, right? There was no apples there. This is what we're learning, that what she was going to partake in, what she's partaking in, is the knowledge of good and evil. Now, good was already there because they had the commandments, right? But how to twist that good is what they were going to learn, right? Once again, you don't know anything about sexual relations. You don't know nothing about kissing. You're 8, 9 years old. But then you get a pedophile. You get a person that does what? Oh, kiss here. Touch this. Do this. You're destroying that child. Right? This is what happened to Eve. And what other things were they learning? What other things was Eve learning in Adam that was brought to Adam? Y'all understand this? Where are you at?
This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 2. Actually, verse 3.
Go. You're at 3. Go from there. Oh no, read down. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman,
go ahead.
Ye shall not surely die.
Right.
For God doth know.
So what did he do? He mixed truth with lies. You're not going to die. Because in reality, they didn't die. Right? And, you know, you go eat a piece of pork. Does lightning hit you out in the street? You know, many people do it. Oh, if the Most High gonna get me, then he gonna get me. Watch. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And you don't see the Most High just poof, lightning come out the sky, but you see gradually death. You see their works lead them to death. Right?
Come.
You see their actions and not wisdom and understanding, it leads them to death. Because the scriptures say, a wise man's steps are guided by the Most High. It says, but the wicked, they know not where they stumble. So what happens? You start falling little by little, and then you fall into destruction, or better yet, blindness. It says you grow up at noonday, right? You're ignorant. You start smoking weed again. You start smoking cigarettes again. You start getting, you know what? I might as well go all out, celebrate Christmas. You start going right back to your vomit.
Turkey and sweet potatoes.
Yeah, he said turkey and sweet potatoes. That's real. That's what happens. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof,
Mm-hmm.
then your eyes shall be opened,
Right.
and ye shall be as gods,
Right.
knowing good and evil.
Knowing what?
Good and evil.
Yeah, because they knew good. But what was going to warp them? The evil.
Good.
What was going to make them gods? Yeah, this process is bringing us this process that we're going through right now. I went over a class on it before. We were already gods. You took it all from us. It says that wisdom, the Most High created us to be immortal. So you're thinking it's like this one knucklehead brother I talked to. You know he would tell me? He would say, sometimes you got to go to the darkness to get to the light. Like, nigga, please. You're a fool. Eve and Adam had it all. They were supposed to live 1,000 years. Imagine living 1,000 years in the Most High's eyes. A day. Imagine living a day before the Most High. So for you to come back and think that, oh, I'm going to be a God. But what happened? What did he do to Eve?
Tricked
Hey, what?
her. He tricked her.
He tricked her, but what did he trick her in? What was it about Eve that she liked? What did she want?
Power.
What?
Power.
Power. That was good for her. She wanted that power. She didn't want obedience. What?
I was just thinking, like, power. Like, why does she want that?
Why did she want it?
Power.
I'm glad you asked that. Why does she want power? You would think, I'm happy now, right? But that shows you right now, how does the black woman destroy her household? She like, oh, I get it now. Con, I get it now. How does the black woman destroy her household?
Selfishness.
No, she want power. She want power over you. How does little Chicana, how does she destroy the household? Power. Now she what? Psst, I'm a person too, nigga. Like, whose is you? My wisdom is great as yours. Why we gotta do it that way? Well, grandma said, mama said, my ex-husband, I was gonna say Volante is. Well, my ex-husband said he knows it, and it's a power struggle in the house. So, I mean, that's just one perspective, though. I mean, look at where. Remember, right now, and I don't want to take this into a woman's class and this making this specifically about Eve, but remember, it says a woman shall surpass a man. It says the whole earth is out of course. Give me that one real quick. And you can like note this somewhere in there, but this is just about the power that Eve was going to get. Now, this is not the only piece of power that she was going to get from this. Her pride and ego that thought she was going to get from this. Because think about it. Where's Eve at now? Where is Eve at right now? Right up there with the so-called white man. Listen, let's be real. Let's be real. It's the white man It's the white woman. It's their children. And then it's who? Didn't they put the black woman at, wait, sorry, it's their dogs.
Oh, right.
Sorry, I'm tripping. Didn't they put the black woman there? Then they put the African. Then they put all the other nations. Then they put the black man under everybody.
That's true. Shit's horrible.
Or you can add the nations before them and then put the woman after. But I know this, the woman is before the black man. That's why when you call the cops, it only be maybe 2010, somewhere around there. It only started to be, if you call the cops now, they actually might blame it on the woman too. But for the most part, money's paid, child support, I guarantee at least 90% to women. The law is geared towards to facilitate the women having the kids. You got to think about how much power this society, there's nothing new under heaven. What was going to be stripped? The roles, the power, right? You got that one?
No, sir.
It's Psalms 82 and 5.
Go ahead and read that.
Psalms chapter 82, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
They know not, neither will they understand.
Uh-huh.
They walk all in darkness.
Right?
All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Right. Everything is out of course. Now give me the other one. Give me the other one. The whole earth is out of course. Go ahead. What you?
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22.
Read that.
How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
Go ahead.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
Go ahead.
A woman shall compass a man.
And that's what it is. They compass the man. You understand? On all levels. So what power was she getting? She was getting that power, leg room. Take off the dress and what? Zip.
Right.
You ain't got nothing to pull out that zipper. But you what? Wearing pants.
Pants on.
Right? You ain't combating boot nowhere. But what? You wearing combat boots now. With no bra on. That's the level that this society has raised a woman to by the power of the hand of Satan, because this is his time.
It's horrible.
This is his rule.
I think about that too.
Yeah.
When you see just females just walking in with yoga pants.
Yeah.
I talked with it was a female at the time. I was like, well, how do y'all wear just tight pants like that? Well, you shouldn't look at it. So I'm like, but you're wearing it like you're wearing it, knowing we're men, so attracted to it. So it's like. Yeah,
you know, we can see the insides of your cavity, but
right.
You wear it. Well, the thing is that it's mental issues. They got mental problems, bro.
God.
A lot of them want attention but don't. A lot of them unsure but sure. God. A lot of them want to just be noticed but not.
Right.
It's a lot of issues. But let's get back to the point. God. This power that was taken and the whole earth being out of course, now the woman seeing, I want some of that power. That's what she was given. She was given power. The whole earth is out of course. Y'all get this?
God.
All right, go from there. Go from there. Let me see here. Go from there. Let me check this scripture real quick. Oh. Right. So go back to Genesis 5. Genesis 3 and 5.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 5.
Let's reiterate that.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof.
Go ahead.
Then your eyes shall be opened.
Go ahead.
And ye shall be as gods.
And you should be as what?
Gods.
Gods. So what did it mean by this? Right? Because obviously she wanted power. You tell somebody you're going to be a god. Like, yeah.
Control things.
I'm going to control. But really what was he doing was diluting her.
God.
Right? Go. But what do gods know? Go to 2 Samuel 14 and 17. What do gods know? And when you say gods, what are you talking about? Angels. The powers. Not the Most High. But you're going to be as little g's.
2 Samuel what again, sir?
2 Samuel 14 and 17.
Be a comment on that?
God.
God.
2 Samuel chapter 14, verse 17.
2 Samuel 14 and 17. You should be writing down verse 5, and then we're going to go over some scriptures on that, showing what it meant by you're going to beat gods. Read that.
Then thy handmaid said, the word of my Lord the king shall now be comfortable. For as an angel of God, so is my Lord the king.
Right, as an angel of God, so is my Lord. How though? Go ahead.
The king to discern good and bad.
To do what?
To discern good and bad.
So that's what she got locked into. She's like, man, I'm going to have the power now. Right?
I got the juice.
I'm going to know good and bad. You see that? But was that good? Did we need to know bad? To be a God? La. So, but what happened? Go to Deuteronomy 30, verse 15. Go to Deuteronomy 30, verse 15. Let's find out what happened.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good.
Right.
And death and evil.
You see that? You know what she did? She opened up the door to death. That's what Eve just did. That's why it says, back in Timothy's, when you go back to Timothy's 2 verse 14, go back there. All she did was open up the door to death.
2 Timothy chapter 2.
Y'all got to understand is that we were, I'm going to have to get the scripture. Go ahead, read that.
1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
And Adam was not deceived.
Go ahead.
But the woman being deceived
right.
was in the transgression.
Right.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing.
So Eve was in transgression. Why? Because she wanted the power. Go to, let me show y'all something. What y'all don't understand is that, you know why we got this choice now? Because of Eve. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Let me show you. 1 and 13.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 verse 13.
Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 13. Go ahead.
For Yahweh made not death.
Go ahead.
Neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living.
Read.
For he created all things.
Right.
That they might have their being, and generations of the world were helpful.
And so that's what the Most High did. He created everything to have their being. He created righteousness. We didn't need to know. We didn't need to know what poom poom shorts were. You don't need to know what running trains on a girl is.
Right.
You don't need to know what blunts are. Because all you did when you learned that, you thought that's what life was about. You didn't need to know that a dime bag can get me $10. Is that how it works? All right.
$10 can get you that.
$10 can get me a dime bag. Or you didn't need to know that. You know what I mean? You think you needed to know about crack babies?
Not at all.
Crack-headed moms? Meth moms?
Right. Bestiality?
Yeah, bestiality, homosexuality.
Pedophilia.
Like, so when you talk about you're not going to die, you're going to be as a God. Yeah, but what do we have to do to go through this? To get back to the point. Really the point where we were at.
Pureness.
To be pure. You could have just been obedient. You trying to tell me the world, the earth, man, has to go through all this like in a circle. We got to come right back around to where we were. Because Eve decided to what? Want to dig in and have power. But listen, let's be real. Adam partook in it too. Right? Adam partook in it too, and what? He wasn't blameless. Let's be real. Alright, so I don't want to make this an Eve night. Adam partook in it like a knucklehead. And how many brothers do we go over that with all the time? It's always, man, you don't understand. We got to bring brothers right back to Job. and show him, brother, you're supposed to be checking your rib and say she speaks as one of the foolish women. But instead, you know what brothers are doing? They let Eve come back right to them and bring weakness. Oh, this. Hey, you should be like me, a complainer. You should be like me, be a murmurer. You should be like me and be doubtful. You should be like me and be double-minded. You right. I see. I'm going to be double-minded just like you. Now you both double-minded knuckleheads. Double-minded, lacking faith, unsure, unmotivated, unbelieving. Why? Because you listen to Eve's weakness all the time. Instead of having a backbone and saying, hold on. Thou speakest as one of the foolish women.
Right.
Job got it right. Did he not?
Right.
He was like, hold on, you tripping. The Lord giveth and he takes away. What are you talking about? Y'all have to see this, man. Come on, read.
And there is no poison of destruction in them.
Yeah, the Most High created everything right. They had it all. Go ahead.
Nor the kingdom of death upon the earth.
Nor the kingdom of death on the earth until, read.
For righteousness is immortal.
Well, read it again.
For righteousness is immortal.
So the Most High created us immortal. What is it that she wanted? Tell me. You had everything. Y'all see this?
Gone.
She wanted Adam's position.
She what?
She wanted Adam's position.
She wanted Adam's position. Because Adam was the king. So that means that ego in her, that pride in her, couldn't sit up there as the queen, as the right hand to him. It was something in her that she was like, no, Adam, I want what? More. You understand that? Righteousness is immortal. We could have lived forever. It's coming back around because the righteous, the chosen, they are going to live forever.
Okay.
Go ahead, read.
But ungodly men with their works.
But what?
But ungodly men with their works.
Read.
And words called it to them.
Yeah, they called it to them. When did it start? With Eve. She called that to them. Adam called it to them as we go on. And I know I'm jumping a little bit, but it's all good. Go ahead.
For when they thought to have it their friend.
They what?
They thought to have it their friend.
Yeah, what did she think to have their friend? What happens when we go outside of the laws and commandments of the Most High? You want to be friends with the world.
Okay.
You want that.
We accept it.
When the women come in and try to assume the position and power over their husband, they're basically saying, I want to destroy my household and have my husband walk around with a leash so my son and my daughter can see this and they can go out there and be effeminate or be masculine. The woman be masculine and the man be effeminate. You change the whole course of the order. Right? Corinthians 11:1, God, Christ, man and women and children. Right? They changed that when you fall out of that order. That's what happened. But I wanted to go here to show you, jump over to 2:23.
2:23, come.
2:23, check this out, read.
For Yahweh created man to be immortal.
He created man to be what?
Immortal.
Yeah, the Most High created Adam and Eve, these Adamites, the righteous, to be immortal. But they wanted to be like all the other beasts of the field. Because that's what happened with Eve. Eve, you want to be like everybody else. Why? Well, she gets to go out in poo-poo shorts. How come I don't? I got to wear a dress. She gets to be independent. Psst, you got me over here taking orders. Now I got to walk around with my head covered. I got to act like I'm in order. She looking at the heathen. You know what I mean? That's why I said, don't have your rib coming around me with no damn spandex on. I don't want to see her hinder parts. That's for you and your household. You understand that?
Okay.
Read 23 again.
For Yahweh created man to be immortal.
Read.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Right. So, and we read it. You can read down. Read down one more, because we read this earlier.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the earth, to the world.
Right.
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
Yeah, it's worded weird, but
right.
and they that do hold on his side do find it. All right, so what did they find? Go back to Deuteronomy 30, verse 15. They found out that now they had to do what?
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15.
Read.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
Now you got to worry about death. Because you wanted this power, you got to worry about the choice of life and death. Like, you serious? Meaning every day I walk out in life, I got to worry about dying.
Or every time I want to take the rule over my husband.
Yeah.
I'm bringing death. Yeah, you said it. I'm bringing death to my household.
I'm bringing death to my household.
I'm bringing death to my children.
I'm bringing chaos.
I'm bringing chaos and confusion. I'm bringing that death. I'm asking for that death.
Yeah.
You women got to see that. That you try to. It's wild, man. I was talking to some lady the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for my Boaz." I looked at her like, "What the hell are you talking? Like, oh, you just want somebody you can run."
Right.
That's what she wanted. She was like, she wanted somebody that wasn't gonna step up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to really check her. Like, that's what you really want? I was like, nah, you want strength. You don't want somebody that's not gonna step up and do their job. She's like, well, yeah, it would be nice, but I ain't gonna be able to find that. Not in this day and age. And I was like, well, you might be like 99% right.
The whole earth is out of course.
God.
The whole earth is out of course. Go from there, go to Ecclesiastes 15, verse 15. Just to show you, we're still in Genesis. Let's reiterate where we're at. Go to Genesis 3 and 5, and somebody else give me the other one.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof,
Go ahead.
then your eyes shall be opened.
Right.
And ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Right. That's the deceptiveness. Oh, you sound like, wow, I'm moving up. No, you're moving backwards. You already had paradise. You already had glory. You already had power and rulership. Adam was a king. Adam was a king. When he said dominion, what does that mean?
Oh.
He had rulership over everything. Right? Of course, even the other nations. The other peoples at that time. He had dominion. They were listen, what gave him dominion? Wisdom. Wisdom gave him dominion. Y'all get this?
Yeah.
Come on, read Ecclesiastes 15 and 15.
If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness.
Go ahead.
He hath set fire and water before thee.
Now that's what we have to deal with by disobeying the commandments. Now you got to make a choice. You're not just born with a silver spoon and born into paradise. This is that ride, you could throw second Esdras in there. 7. He said all the way down to this is the condition of the battle that man upon the earth may fight. You got to choose righteousness and wickedness.
Straight and main things.
Yeah, you got to go through these things in life. Why? Because Adam. Because Eve. Go ahead.
Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt.
Go ahead.
Before man is life and death. And whether he like it shall be given him.
Right. So it wasn't a gift that Satan was giving. It wasn't a gift. It was more, it was by disobeying the commandments, disobeying the law that the Most High had given them, they were going to fall into more death and confusion. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
Go back to Genesis.
Genesis chapter 5 and 3 and verse 5.
Go to back 3 and 6 now.
Verse 6.
Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
Hold on a second. What's up?
No, I was on Genesis 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Another thing you notice is that he came as somebody that had authority. First he asked like a question.
Yeah.
But then he came like, no, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to know this. He
right.
Came, and he does it today. You know what I mean? He comes to you. He comes to Israel as if he knows better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we know about space. We know about the inner workings of your body. We know about all this.
Right.
And we're the ones that are...
We're NASA. We're the scientists.
Yeah. And so that's the thing is our people now look to him as the authority where she should have just stayed looking to her man as the authority. And looking to the Most High and what he said is the authority.
And how many of those, we're not going to make this an Eve class, but how many times you get in these conversations that you have to... show your wife that your wisdom is good. And I told my rib I said, listen, when have I ever led you wrong? You haven't. when I ever led you through folly and stupidity to do something that was young and stupid? You haven't. Exactly. So I don't want to hear what you got to say. I'm going to lead you the right way. You know what I mean? And, I mean, my ribs know. I don't. There's no. You're not. This is not a battle. You know, if I put my input, you're supposed to follow that. You know, if I let you go the way you're saying, then that means that's wisdom. You know, and they don't understand that's been stripped from the man. And us coming back with wisdom and understanding, guiding, right? Like it says, husbands, dwell with your wives according to knowledge. She's supposed to have all respect for you. If I'm moving with the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, then she's supposed to see, wait a minute, I shouldn't have nothing to say because this man is leading me to laws, righteousness, and life. Now, here's the flip side. Husbands, you can't teach your wives a foolish, a wicked example, a bad example. Because once you do that, it's going to be hard to go back and say, okay, especially if they're not a wise woman. They're going to hold that till the end of time. Yeah. No, the scriptures say, teach them not an evil lesson. Straight out. So the thing is that power is given back to us through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it's been stripped from us when we're ignorant, dumb, deaf, and blind. Y'all got that? All right, so verse 6. Go ahead, read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
It was good for what?
Food.
It was, now, mind you, let's go back. Let's go back. Verse 3. Read 3 again.
But the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden,
Uh-huh.
God has said, ye shall not eat of it.
So certain fruit they weren't supposed to partake in, which was the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? Okay. That we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what that was. I don't want to jump. I'm already excited, but jumping ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it,
right?
lest ye die.
Right. So no, what verse are you at?
That was verse 3. Finishing verse 3.
No. Jump back now.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
It was good for food. Go ahead.
And that it was pleasant to the eyes.
Right.
And a tree to be desired.
Right.
To make one wise.
To make one what?
Wise.
Stop. To make one what?
Wise.
Because this tree of knowledge of good and evil was an actual food. It was food for what? Thought. It wasn't. Now, we still seeing no apple, right? That's going out of your brain? No apple. The fruit represented knowledge. It represented the knowledge of good and evil. You understand that? That's why, and I don't want to, let's see here. Let me see. What do I got? A few in here. I might as well go give y'all a few. Go to Luke 6, verse 44. Just real quick to show you that the fruit. Go to Luke 6, verse 44.
Luke chapter 6 and verse 44.
Right. So it says, she took the fruit thereof and did eat. Because this came from this tree to be desired. It said to be desired to make one wise. Now, you eat an orange, you get a little vitamin C. But are you going to become a god?
La.
Okay. Because these things wasn't going to make you fruit. Actual fruit don't make you a god. The fruit that was going to make one wise was the knowledge that she was going to get. Y'all get this? Now, let's deal with the word fruit. Every time it uses trees and fruits. Y'all got this? Read that 6 and 44.
Luke chapter 6, verse 44.
Go ahead.
For every tree is known by his own fruit.
The what?
For every tree is known by his own fruit.
Right, so the fruit is what comes from you. Right? Your doings, your actions. Y'all see this? So we're learning two things. The tree, the man's was represented as trees, and we're getting that. We don't got time to go through all that. I can see we're going to finish on this verse, the 6th. We're going to get into the trees, okay? Because it uses that symbolism too. Well, we're talking about the fruit. It was symbolic of wisdom, of what comes from the trees. Now, what wisdom were they getting? What wisdom were they getting? What did we learn? What?
They were getting the knowledge of good and evil.
Well, right. Now, why is it called the knowledge of good and evil? Because something had to be twisted. But really, what were they learning?
Evil.
They were learning evil works. Right. Remember, we according to the scriptures, they were given the laws, the commandments from the beginning. So they knew good. What they were doing is learning from these other peoples and nations what evil was. Now, how I can twist good. Oh, sex is good, but let's do it anally. Right. Sex is good, but we can add one more person to it. Now it's threesomes. Right? A spoon is good, but what about if I take this spoon and gouge this person's eye out because they talking too much? You understand? They're using these things in a wicked way. Y'all get this? So the fruit was the knowledge that was coming from them. Go ahead, read.
For of thorns men do not gather figs.
Right.
Nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes.
Go ahead.
A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good.
Right.
And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart,
right,
bringeth forth that which is evil.
So we already know that according to the scriptures, the beasts were foolish. They were walking without the wisdom. What were they coming with?
Evil.
They weren't coming with the laws and wisdom of the Most High. Let's remind us of today. When you go out there in the world, are they telling you, oh yeah, that shrimp, crab, lobster, that's unlawful. What are they doing? They're telling you, oh, it's a delicacy. Right? This is good for you. Right? Their fruits, their actions ain't in the laws and wisdoms of the Most High. Isaiah 3:10 and 11. We're running out of time. Isaiah 3 and 10. Come on.
Isaiah chapter 3 verse 10.
Go ahead.
Say ye to the righteous.
Go ahead.
That it shall be well with him.
Go ahead.
For they shall eat the fruit of their doings.
Yeah, they can eat the fruit of your doings because, listen, and jumping ahead a little bit, the Most High likens the man as a tree. He said in Psalms 1:1 as a tree planted by the rivers of water. Right? And it said he shall bring forth fruit. Well, the fruit of the actions. The fruit of is what comes out of you, and what comes out of you is your knowledge. Right? That's what either makes you right or makes you wicked, right? Okay. We could go there. Let's go there real quick. Psalms 1 and 3. I'm not going to rush. We're just going to cut it into 2 sections. I'm not going to rush. All right? So let me give you the scriptures. I start doing that, then I hate myself afterwards. Psalms 1 and 3. Read that.
Psalms chapter 1 verse 3.
Go ahead.
And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water.
Right.
That bringeth forth his fruit.
That bringeth forth his what?
His fruit in his season.
Read.
His leaf also shall not wither.
That's right. So what was going to come from the trees of knowledge of good and evil?
Fruit.
Their fruit. That's going to make me wise. If I learn this, I'm going to be better. If I learn the sun, the moon, and the stars and how to worship them, then I don't have to worship the one true God. That's how they think. If I understand how Earth exploded in the beginning, now I know more than God. Like, this is not complicated.
Or I am a God.
Yeah, I'm a God. This is not complicated, right? That's how they look at it. This is easy. This is genetics. This is DNA. Anybody can create a person, right? All you got to do is splice this DNA with this DNA, right? And you can make like this God thing is not easy. That's why they're talking about the God particle. So what was coming from them was wicked wisdom, wicked knowledge. And she took it. She partook in it. That's why he said, of all the other trees of the garden, go ahead and eat. You understand? You can eat of those. Why? Because it was actual food. But he said those trees, that knowledge of good and evil, don't partake in that. What?
You know what's funny about that? Because after this story, it goes into Noah. And all of these people, they basically went off because he killed everybody except for Noah and his 3 sons and 3 wives and his.
And then after that, you got the Tower of Babel. See, the point is that there's nothing new under heaven. Where this confuses people is that they're not looking at the symbolism. They don't know the Bible. They don't know how the Bible talks. So they're like, oh, you know what? It was a snake. It was an apple. It was fruit. No, this is the same thing that's been happening over generations of time, right? Same thing. When it came to Israel, what happened? He gave us the commandments. He chose us to choose life or death. And what happened? We chose death, right? We were disobedient. And what did we do? How were we disobedient? We followed all the other trees in the garden, and we start following their fruit. We start dealing with their gods, their philosophies, their doctrines, their beliefs. Y'all see that? We didn't listen to the Most High. See? Go to Jude. Finish that. Read down.
Verse 4.
Go ahead.
The ungodly are not so.
Uh-huh.
But like the chaff which the wind driveth away.
Right, but like the chaff that the wind driveth away. They're the leaves blowing in the wind. But that strong tree, which we're being created, is like a tree planted by what water? The water, the wisdom, the knowledge and understanding of the Most High, and your roots grow deep. That's why Christ said, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. So, all right, go from there, go to Jude 1 and 12.
Jude chapter 1 and verse 12. These are the spots.
He said, these are what?
The spots.
Right, these are spots. Now, he's talking about the ones that he's going to tell us that their fruits and actions are wrong. That what comes from them is off. Go ahead.
These are spots in your feast
Read.
Of charity.
Read.
When they feast with you.
Uh-huh.
Feeding themselves without fear.
Yeah, they come to our feasts. They come to our gatherings. And they want to judge everything. Oh, you know what I mean? Like you were saying, I didn't get my seat right. There's no what you say? There was no
dressing.
There was no dressing on our table. It's like, are you serious? Oh, see, I ain't never going back there. It's like, we didn't get seated right. We didn't get no dressing on our table. We didn't, the brother or sister didn't look. It's like, bro, you never wanted to deal with us anyway. You know what I mean? We're just talking about an incident that happened at the Passover. The brother brought his family trying to give him a shot at what the truth's like. And, of course, they did what was in their heart was what? Find any and everything. Y'all see this? So they can see their fruit. We can see their fruits. He can see their fruits. Like, listen, I gave you a chance. I brought you around the sons of the Most High. But what you did is all the dressing, really? The dressing threw your spirit off. Right. That's crazy. Go ahead.
God, without fear.
They don't feed without fear. Instead of them coming in there with the fear of the Most High and saying, damn, I need to learn. I need to see. You want to come over there and start picking it apart. Go ahead.
Clouds, they are without water.
Right. Listen, once again, are people really clouds? No, it's symbolic. He's saying that you're useless. A cloud has water in it. You're useless. You don't even have the water of the Most High. Go ahead.
Carried about of wind.
Yeah, you're the person tossed to and fro. You're like, we're here. Who you with today? I don't know. Who you with today? I don't know. Who you with today? Right? Everything changes in one day. Why? You're a cloud. But let's get to the point. Read.
Trees.
What?
Trees.
What?
Trees.
Read.
Whose fruit withereth.
Right. Whose fruit withereth. Meaning that the things that come from you are going to be dead. And that's the fruit of the nations. That's the fruit of these other kingdoms. Dead. So go back to Genesis 3. Genesis 3. Right? No, finish that. Let's finish it. We might as well. Go ahead.
God.
Come on.
Jude, chapter 12 and verse.
Read.
Verse 12.
Read.
God.
Read.
These are the spots in your feet.
He said 50 things before. I said read. He said where? He said con. I was like read.
God.
Right. Read.
Slide. These are the spots in your feet of charity.
Go ahead.
When they feast with you.
Read.
Feeding themselves without fear.
Uh-huh.
Clouds they are without water.
Right.
Carried about of winds.
Read.
Trees without fruit. Trees whose fruit withereth.
Read.
Without fruit. Twice dead. Plucked up by the roots.
Plucked up by the roots. So go back.
Genesis chapter 3.
And verse 6. Let's read it again.
God, verse 6.
And then we're going to go to Ezekiel 31. So if you didn't understand, if you thought, y'all stretching that, we're going to go straight to the point and tell you that in the garden, these trees represented people. Okay? It's another symbolic way Genesis talks. So read that. Genesis 3 and 6 again.
God.
And somebody else, Zion or Lamont, whoever, give me Exodus 31 and 7. Go ahead.
God. Genesis chapter 3 verse 6.
Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
Right.
And that it was pleasant to the eye.
Right.
And a tree to be desired.
Right.
To make one wise.
To make one wise. We know trees don't make you wise. Go ahead. Not to be gods. Not to be gods. Not to be like an angel. Go ahead.
She took of the fruit thereof. And did eat.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat. So as Ezekiel 31 verse 7. Let's further edify on the trees. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 31 verse 7.
Go ahead.
Thus was he fair in his greatness.
Right. Thus was he fair in his greatness. Who is it talking about? Adam. Go ahead.
In the length of his branches.
Right. Do me a favor, Zion. You read, please, Zion.
Ezekiel chapter 31 and verse 7.
I know you're trying back there, but your voice, the coughing. Go ahead.
Thus was he fair in his greatness.
Go ahead.
And the length of his branches.
And the length of his what?
Branches.
And well, was this a tree man? No, it's symbolic. The Bible speaks in symbolism. Go ahead.
For his root was by great waters.
Right. It was talking about Adam. And when you read this chapter, it is also symbolic of this king. How it's referring to him being like Adam. Go ahead.
Verse 8. The cedars in the garden of God.
The cedars where?
In the garden of God.
The cedars where?
In the garden of God.
What are we talking about?
In the garden of God.
If you didn't understand, it's symbolic. All through the Bible, it tells you that the man is like the tree planted by the rivers of water. There's many other scriptures, more than just Psalms 1 and 3, more than just Jude 1 and 18, more than just Luke 6:44, more than just Isaiah 3 and 10 and 11. It's more scriptures than that. That shows that a man is like the tree. It's symbolic. What?
Psalms 92 verse 12 through 14.
Yeah, Psalms 92, 12 and 14. There's more scriptures. But this one right here is showing you literally, he was talking about in Eden, they were referred to as trees. Go ahead.
God. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him.
Right, it could not hide him. And we're going to get a little back to this because when they tried to hide, but I'm going here to show you they were known as the trees.
God.
What cedars? The other people. When a man hides, when Israel runs and hides from the Most High, what do?
Go right to the barrios.
They go right back to their vomit, Zach. They go right back to the hood and go right back to smoking weed. And the Most High ain't gonna know me. He ain't gonna see me. I'm gonna get deeper in my wickedness. I'm gonna get deeper in my filth. But he could not be hid. Go ahead.
The fir trees were not like his bows.
Right. The fir trees were not like him. Why? Because these other nations, these other peoples that were there, they were not like Adam. They were not like Eve. The Most High set us apart. Just like now, you're set apart from all the nations. Y'all get this? You're set apart from all of them. The laws and commandments lift you above them. The Most High sees you. He said you're a light shining in the midst of darkness. Go ahead.
And the chestnut trees were not like his branches.
Read.
Nor any tree in the garden of God.
Read.
Was unto him in his beauty.
See, none was like Adam. None was like Eve. But you see the symbolism?
God.
Read.
I have made him fair
Read.
by the multitude of his branches.
Now, really, was he a real tree?
Wow.
No, he's saying that when he was planted by the laws and commandments of the Most High, he flourished. He was more great. He was greater than all nations, just like Solomon was. Y'all get this? Just like David was when he was in order until he messed up and he had to learn his lesson, right? Go ahead.
So that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. For them that are like, well, that's a little stretch. Straight to the point. He said, read it again.
So that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God.
Read.
Envied.
They what?
Envied.
So a tree, could a tree envy a man? No. It's symbolic. The trees that they were getting this knowledge of good and evil from were the other people in the garden. Now you see why I went back and showed you that there was more than just Adam and Eve. They learned these things from these other people that was in the midst. They learned the knowledge of good and evil. They were doing what? They were not following the laws and commandments. But the Adamites were supposed to. Just like the Israelites are supposed to. But what happened? Did it. Don't. And there's only a chosen that will, right? What you was going to say?
No, you just said it.
Right.
You said it. Basically, you know, when you jump back to Genesis 2:17, when it talks about, but the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it.
Right.
For in that day thou eatest, therefore thou shalt surely die.
Right.
Then you go back into, I believe, Wisdom of Solomon, where it says, sin brought death.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just showing the flip side to that song.
Yeah.
Where a man that's planted in that wisdom,
right,
he's gonna be that tree whose fruit never dies.
Right. Oh yeah.
But through taking this evil wisdom,
yeah,
this is what surely brought that death onto our people from Adam, and then you deal with Noah, Tower of Babel, until now.
Exactly.
Like you said earlier, they're dealing with the same things we're dealing with now. It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And what is it doing to our people? It's
death. Same thing. Yeah. There's nothing new under heaven. Yep. The scripture said that. I believe it. If it says there's nothing new under heaven, then that Adam and Eve, from everybody, you can see the transitioning from kingdoms and powers that come up over thousands of years. Nothing's changed. God. Wicked king comes up, does wickedness, floods the earth with wickedness. The Most High destroys him because he's prideful and sets up a righteous king. Righteous king comes in, does the will of the Most High, goes off, Most High chastises him, gets him in order, and he goes in. That's the Bible, from beginning to the end. You know what I mean? All the way to now, right? And in the middle of that, the Most High is what? Working on the Israelites, the chosen of God, to do what? Rule the world, to be set for the world to be set in the right place. Y'all got that? Who had their hand raised? No, you didn't have that, Aria? All right, so, all right, I mean, that right there makes it very simple. Now, we're going over a little bit. We're ended there. So y'all get this, right? That the symbolism of serpent, the symbolism when he calls them beasts, right? Because they were beastly. The symbolism where they were trees, because the Most High is referring to the people as the trees. Y'all see that? The knowledge that they were receiving was the knowledge of good and evil that was going to do what? Let me throw these in there real quick. Go to Ecclesiastes 19 and 22. And this is what they didn't understand. Ecclesiastes 19 and 22.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
This is what she didn't understand. She's talking about, I'm going to make you a god. She's thinking I'm going to be a god. Adam is thinking about, I'm going to be a god. But read it again.
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right.
Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudent.
Right. That's what they didn't understand. You see that? But what did the nation show them? Go to 1 John 2 verse 16. They didn't show us no wisdom to be gods and righteousness. They showed us death. Y'all get this? They showed us death.
2 verse 14.
1 John 2 verse 16. Read.
For all that is in the world.
Go ahead.
The lust of the flesh.
Read.
And the lust of the eye.
Right. That's why, what did it say? Go back to Genesis 3 and 6.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
Read.
And that it was pleasant to the eye.
It was what?
Pleasant to the eye.
Yeah. Meaning what? You start seeing the wickedness and now you want to perform it. You start seeing it and you start wanting to do it. Y'all see that? The lust of it says 2 and 16. Read it again.
2 and 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
Read.
And the lust of the eye.
Go ahead.
And the pride of life.
Right.
Is not of the Father.
Is not of the Father. They weren't, the nations, the people among them weren't teaching us but filth, wickedness. So you want to know what Adam and Eve fell into? They fell into the same thing we're falling into now. Right? What brought death? What brought death? One word. What? Sin brought death. So you're not capping what part sin it was, right? They were doing it all. Just like now in this world. Y'all get this? Okay. It's a lot. It is a lot. I'm hoping I was slow on that. Brothers and sisters online, I'll give y'all a few minutes to hit me up, hit me back to see if y'all got any questions on that. What do we got on it? On the topic. Okay, let's go through them. I'd rather go through those questions now. You know what I mean? Go over a little bit and then, because now's the time. Go ahead.
It says,
yeah.
It's Jeremiah. If it was not an actual tree, why did the Most High, when he kicked them out of the garden, put a flaming sword turning in every direction?
We're going to get to there. We got to finish the chapter. All right? Because the flaming sword, that right there, remember, he was separating them, okay, from the things of paradise. Right? Because all these things in paradise, right, that they had access to, the Most High was going to shut that off. Y'all get that? Okay, so... yeah, the part of the tree of knowledge and good and evil, it goes into the tree of life. And when you talk about the tree of life, that goes into them looking up into the heavens. And we talked about that a little before. But this tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? Where it says here, and when the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it pleased the eyes, and the tree was to be desired to make one wise. That's talking about the wickedness that they were going to commit. That wasn't talking about, you got the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and then you got the tree of life. All right? The tree of life was, it was the stars, the sun, the moon, those things. Go ahead. What else? What else you got?
You got a couple of questions, but it looks like we might have
missed it. We might have passed those.
We answered them.
We answered them as we were going.
I mean, they're still good questions. I mean, they're still good questions, but it looked like.
It looks like we answered them. Okay. All right.
But he had. Wait, what were you gonna? Which one were you gonna read, Zion?
I mean, if we answer them, then we don't have to go through them.
It says.
Let's answer something that wasn't answered.
Yeah, it's just Jeremiah.
It's just Yar. Okay. I mean, if we answer them, then we did it. I don't want to have to go back.
Let's see here. He said, okay, Khan. So, what man was the tree of life if the serpent represented the knowledge of the good and evil?
Right. So
what man was tree? He's basically asking what man represents the tree of life.
Right now, that's why I said the tree of knowledge of good and evil is one thing. The tree of life was something else. The tree of life, yeah, we touched on that. That wasn't a man. That was actually the zodiac, or what they ignorantly, I'm going to say this again, what they ignorantly called the zodiac, which was the sun, the moon, the stars, the worshiping of those things, the dealing with those things. But we'll go into that as we go on also. You know, I'll go over it again. I think we touched on it when you were here also, Jeremiah, in class, but we're going to touch on that again because we're finally getting to this chapter. What else?
And then he said, and to add to it, food can cause you to know good. That's why Yahushua ate butter and honey.
Nah.
We didn't cut out, like the question.
Yeah, nah. The food, what they were partaking in was wisdom. It said to make one wise.
Yeah, that's the key word.
Yeah, that's the key word.
And then you gotta ask yourself this.
And then let me say this. Hold on. If you didn't understand it, Ezekiel 31 kind of just told you right there that the symbolism of the Garden of Eden, he was referring to them as trees. So that should have clarified everything for you. If you thought it was actual trees and fruit and food. Okay? What else?
Yeah, he said one last question.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I think this is a little bit, I think this one is off the topic. It says, when he had said, we shall have their carcasses in abomination.
That's Leviticus.
That's in Leviticus. What was he referring to? Was it for clothes and tools or no? You know when it talks about,
this is off the topic?
This is going to be off the topic because we were talking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about.
Well, listen, this is 10:12. If it's off the topic, we can get to that one. Yeah. We can get that. We can get Yar on that one, and that's Jeremiah, right? Yeah, we can get you on that one because it's 10:12. I wanted to make sure we get Genesis 3 out of the way on the topic. All right, and hopefully those questions were answered. If not, we'll go over it again. It's on video. Nothing I went over is gonna change. If you look up the old video, nothing I went over is going to change. It's never going to change. It's one way to go through the scriptures and add the precepts to them and edify. There's only one way. So it's never going to change. So if you're asking, if you keep asking, y'all ask again, I'm going to keep giving you the same thing over and over again, which is okay. I'm just letting you know that if y'all have any questions, just ask. All right? So was that it on them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, because it's 10:13. So other than that, we're going to see y'all Shabbat night class. The Waterford brothers and sisters tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Say shalom. Remember, wait. Before we say shalom, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Remember, no yeast, no bread. Okay? No leaven. So make sure y'all looking at your packages and knowing what to eat, what not to eat. Check your packages. Come? Okay, now shalom.
Shalom.
All right, yeah.
No, he's asking that one because.
What?
There's this cowboy in the mall. The cowboy was like, he always be buying like little shirts or whatever. So
Yeah.
he's like, hey, you know shoe size, and I'll give him some boots made out of ostrich skin. I'm like, can't wear it. He's like, what about toad? I'm like, what about alligator? I'm like, can't wear it. Like Jeremiah's like, can't wear that?
Yeah, it says the carcass, not to
He's thinking that the carcass, an abomination means that you can use it for like some type of tool. I didn't have a chance to go to the scripture. We were busy. We were in the mall.
What scripture was he talking about?
He was in Leviticus.
Leviticus 11. So you should have their carcasses in abomination.
Right.
What that means. He's thinking that it means like you can have it to wear. That's why he asked that question. But I was like, I didn't get a chance to go there.
But he says have it as an abomination.
That's what I told him. I said, think about the word abomination. It's a bad word.